just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. And listen, before we get into it, boys, something special's happened. And honestly, I was looking at my phone in happy tears yesterday, like just crying for happiness. Because the great Matty the Waterboy is engaged to his Mrs. Courtney.
Yes,
standing O,
Matty.
standing O. That deserves a standing O. Congratulations. Wow. Honestly, I never would have thought when I was walking through the park many years ago, and I saw a very strange looking, almost creepy looking guy with blonde hair in the middle of the park, and he was scissoring a lovely young woman. Their legs were intertwined like scissors. Who would have thought when I witnessed that as a boss going, oh shit, this is kind of inappropriate. It would be the future love of his life, Courtney, that he got engaged to. Oh man,
Well done, Matty.
just beautiful stuff. You're a man now. You're a man. You got to provide now, bro. You got to provide now.
Oh,
How you feel the pressure? You may or may not have a bonus coming this week, just so you're aware.
Oh, beautiful. That's nice. It's funny, that scissoring story was 4 or 5 years ago now, and on the comments, on the post yesterday that Courtney put up that she collabed with me, I reckon there was about 10 or 11 scissor emojis still floating around, which is always funny. I'm pretty sure I had the bleach blonde hair back then too, so yeah, I was looking very weird back then. So
Wow.
it's an absolute miracle that she stuck with me for this song. But yeah, no, it was probably the best day of my life. It was fantastic.
Now walk us through. Walk us through the day, mate? What
Just
happened?
quickly, the execution seemed like
Very
second to
un-Matty-like.
none.
Very
Yeah,
un-Matty-like.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I nailed it. Basically, I've been planning it for months. I bought the ring months ago. Like, it's custom made, so you have to wait a long time. So I had a long time to plan it. And it was funny. The ring was gonna arrive the week before round 27. And our anniversary is actually on the 6th. So I was like, oh, this is absolutely perfect. South Roosters play on Friday. Get that out of the way. And then our anniversary is on the Saturday. So she wouldn't expect anything. So I booked everything for that day. Basically, we have like a spot around Kirribilli that's like sentimental to us. So I hired this company called All Things Picnic. They're bloody awesome.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to them. They pretty much, you pay the money and they like make the picnic for you. You don't have to do anything. You get there and it's all set up. Hired a photographer, hired someone to do video. And then, yeah, pretty much walked in. I was going to catch the ferry there, but I was getting so much head noise about like the ring dropping out of my pocket. So I ended up getting an Uber across the bridge. But
Did you think I'll just go inside? Like I'll sit inside?
Sorry, what?
Like with the ferry dropping out in the water, didn't you think I'll just sit inside?
Nah, because she would have wanted to sit outside. Yeah. So I was like, nah, I'm not taking any risks. We'll get
Good
the
old
ferry.
reliable Uber.
Yeah, so I got the Uber.
Should have strapped it under your gooch.
Damn, I wish I talked to you before. Pop the question. Then we had like a 2-hour picnic, which was fun. And then got a ferry back to the city. And then in a bar, said, we're going out to dinner. But then in a bar, like our like close group of friends were all there.
Oh, that's
and then,
sweet.
Yeah, and then we just...
Didn't get an invite, but that's still sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
We ripped in for a few hours. And then yesterday we kind of spent the day just to ourselves, went to Basteka at night and had another good night. I'm pretty exhausted, to be honest, but yeah, it was a great weekend.
Wow, that's beautiful, isn't it? You know, we always talk about tough men playing each other, blood, bashing each other, head highs, but there's love still.
Yeah.
Love still exists. And it's with Matty right now.
Yeah, they grow up so fast, don't they?
They do. They really do. So, mate, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. That's very nice.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff, mate. Timmy, how was your weekend, mate?
Yeah, not that good, but it was all right. And
Actually, so you're not engaged, are you?
No, I'm not engaged. No.
Are you engaged?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
But the bar has been set high.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even all this stuff of like organised picnics and organising photographers and videographers, and that, I'm like, a bit to this. So I'm glad Matty's got it out of the way early and we can maybe get some advice in future. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Hammy, what about you, mate? How's your weekend?
Yeah, it was good. I certainly had a fair bit of Matty's content forwarded to me from my significant other, so certainly got a few
What
things
was he trying to say? I didn't get it.
on the radar.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I've seen it. What's the point?
Yeah.
I'm happy for it. No, good weekend though. Obviously, a very disappointing end to the Tigers season, but thankfully there was all the great Matty content to kind of cheer me up when
Yes.
I needed it most. Yeah,
Mate, speaking of cheered up, so yesterday was Father's Day.
Yep.
And when you've got 2 kids, you don't usually get any time for yourself. And because it was Father's Day, I got to just... I tell you what I got to do, actually. So this is a long story, so I'll try and condense it as quickly as possible. A few months ago... No, sorry. For the entire time we've been here, the internet has been terrible. Like, I'm talking like migraine inducing. Anytime the show is late, it's because the internet is so bad. We have called every ISP in under the sun. Trust me, Matty can attest to this.
Oh, it's been a nightmare.
And every single one's like, nah, I can't do it. No, I can do it, but it's going to be like friggin' 1 megabyte per second. Anyway, so Roo, what have been like 2 months ago or so,
yeah.
He was like, listen, I got a mate, just give him a call, he'll see what you do. You know as well. So I get on the phone to Andrew, and we just start getting chatting. Andrew was a part of the Bloke community. Anyway, he happened to also be the CEO of Lontel. Anyway, so we get on the phone. He's like, listen, man, I'll be able to sort you out. And me having had the trauma of the last 5 years, I was like, listen, bro, like, you sound like a legend, but that's not going to happen because we have spoken to everyone. This guy is like a wizard sent from God. A wizard sent from God. Anyway, so we started speaking for quite a while. Turned out absolute legend. Speak all the time now. He's a legend. Literally within, how long do you reckon it took him to hook that internet up from Lontel?
Honestly, probably less than 30 seconds.
Less than 30 seconds. Anyway, to make it even better, to make my day better, and so this is a couple of months ago, he's like, oh, what's your address? Not trying to be weird or anything, Kempy. What's your address? And I was like, my address is this. Listen, I've got solid NBN. It's fine. He's like, no, just let me sort something out for you. In 30 seconds, Lontel doubled my internet speed like that. Matter of fact, it's so quick. If anyone that's a gamer knows, 100 gig right now for me, it's a multi-gig connection. 100 gig right now for me takes about 20 seconds. It is the quickest shit I've ever had. And it's all thanks to Lontel, the best internet company in the goddamn world, with obviously Smithy, who's Andrew Smith. He's a legend. And the reason why that all comes back to it, yesterday, it was Father's Day. And I wanted to sit down and play some video games because you never get to do that with 2 kids. And because I had the fastest friggin' internet in the entire world, I was just downloading as many games as I wanted, playing them, sitting there for hours and hours. And that's all thanks to Andrew. That's all thanks to Lontel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. The best internet in all the land. And yeah, I'm sure there's actually going to be more stuff we're doing. I've actually been helping them with some marketing stuff as well in regards to just giving them some ideas, Lontel, the internet company. And yeah, so that's what I did yesterday. I enjoyed life.
The most special thing about him, mate, bleeds green.
Bleeds green. Yeah,
yeah,
look.
So it all adds up.
Listen, I just said all those nice things about you. We're about to towel you up in game one.
You'll be able to download all the highlights of the Raiders towel up the Broncos by 40 points on Sunday.
Anyway, we've got a bunch of things planned. Lontel, seriously, they have changed our lives. Like, I can't, like, Matty, speak to me about how good the internet is now thanks to Lontel.
Honestly, like, I'm not putting mayonnaise on this. It's actually life-changing because, like the amount of time, like, people know, like, we used to put it out on YouTube at like 6 o'clock sometimes.
And you'd be up at like Guru's or at your home. Yeah. You had to go home a lot of the time.
I went home a lot. Once Guru got Lontel, I started going to his studio, but now I can finally say it's honestly, like, there is no exaggeration. It's the fastest internet I've ever seen.
It's so good. And at home, it's just like crazy. So Lontel, they're the best in the business. If you need internet, go to Lontel. This guy's a legend. He's one of the Bloke community. We met because he was part of the Bloke community before all this stuff. So, mate, so good. So that's my weekend, guys. That's my weekend. Yeah, so listen, if you need internet, go to Lontel. L-A-U-N-T-E-L. Go there, Google them. They're the best in the business. I seriously, I cannot believe how much they've saved our lives. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but let's get straight into it, shall we? Let's get straight into it. Let's face a bit of music, brought to you by Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed because I'm feeling like heading into finals footy. I'm starting to get my eye, I think.
Yep. Get around me as well on the feed. Yep. Finals footy. Obviously, the end of the regular season.
And we might have some content coming out too soon.
We do. Tomorrow morning.
Okay, tomorrow morning.
So looking forward to that.
I'll just say this. Den and Day Lewis
was the feel in the room.
Yeah, range.
The range on the man.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah. Have you dried off yet as well?
Oh, my God. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
A warning to the people in the first 5 rows, you will get wet with this one. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. All right, end of the regular season for Face the Music.
Time for the rubber to meet the road.
It is time for the rubber to meet the road. So we'll get into it. We'll kick off with the Storm, the Broncos 30, defeat the Storm 14. A lot of people getting a little bit too cute here. A lot of Storm 13 pluses. Obviously, the Broncos did the business. Timmy was the only one who nailed it with the Broncos head-to-head. $1.92 for you, Timmy.
What did I do?
Broncos won at 12.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
No faith in them.
No faith in them. No faith in the boys.
That is rank.
Comes back to bite you.
Oh.
We move on to 6 p.m. Friday. Great game. Daly Cherry Evans' last game for Manly Seagulls. Manly 27 defeat the Wars 26. A lot of 13 pluses here. A lot of people trying to swing for the fences and either extend gaps or catch them up. Only Matty took away points here. He had Manly head-to-head for $1.50. Slim pickings in that game.
Coward stuff.
Even slimmer pickings in the Book of Feuds. The Roosters 36 defeat South 6. No points for anyone here. A lot of love for Souths. Again, I think a few people trying to catch up a bit of lost ground. Timmy, you had a crack at Golden Point. Maybe just leave that one to Roo going forward.
Thanks, mate.
Pleasure.
We fast forward to the overall rankings, or
we're getting there. We're getting there. So no points for anyone in that game. Super Saturday, Dragons 20 defeated by Panthers 40. Denon had the big Dragons 13 plus. Not your finest there.
What was going on there?
No, I was just going 13 plus whoever's not the favourite because I'm trying to. I think I'm like $10 behind Matty.
Yes, that's right. So myself and Matty had Penrith covering the 8.5 point line. Ended up being a 16.5 point line. So that is a sharp piece of punting from us. Timmy, you had Penrith 13 plus, which at the time of submitting was paying $2.30. So well done to you there. You've timed that one nicely. Titans 36 defeat the Tigers 26. Who cares? Top 16 secured for the boys. So we'll take that. Only Matty came away with points here. Titans plus 2.5. Roo had golden point here as well.
Rank betting.
Well, at least he got something on the board. You know? Roo had a crack at golden point. Looked ridiculous for a while. Ended up being a bit of a pulse. Didn't come home. Last game on Saturday, Dogs 6 defeated by Sharkies 24. Matty took the Dogs in that game, so no points for him. I took the Sharks head to head. Roo, Denon, and Timmy. Sharkies 13 plus for $5.80.
Just get it.
Not bad. Not bad. Well played.
Yeah, it's a good call. Good
Pretty obvious when you think about it, that one, wasn't it? Anyway, hindsight's a beautiful thing. Dolphins, 62. Defeat the Raiders, 24. They can no longer win the comp. They've just conceded 50.
No.
Yeah. Denon had a swing for the fences. You took the Raiders 13 plus. Didn't quite nail that one. So Roo also had the Raiders head-to-head. Matty had the Raiders with the plus. Myself and Timmy, we both took the Finns 13 plus. Timmy hates his own team. $2.15.
The Raiders rested their whole team. Why were you just going for the Raiders?
I went and looked at every underdog and went 13 plus. That was my thought, except for the fucking Broncos. Fuck.
Yeah. Ridiculous behaviour. Eels 66 defeat Knights 10. Spare a thought for Nilso, who's running a kilometre for every point that the Knights lose by this year. Just a lazy 56 kilometres to round out the season. I think he's run about 330 kilometres already this year.
Hasn't been punished enough.
Yeah. So going out with a bang, Nilso. We're thinking of you, mate. Denon, you might need an HIA here. You had the Knights 13 plus. The rest of us had the Eels to cover the.
Oh, sorry for thinking the Knights have a bit of ticker about them not winning and win the fucking spoon. Apologies.
When we finish recording this, I want you to go back, rewind what you just said, and just have a listen to that. Because they haven't shown any ticker all year.
Sorry, I had faith in Steel City. Jeez, especially a bloody working class city. It's clearly not. Getting too uppity.
You should be.
It's you know what? It's been gentrified. That's why. That's why. That's the issue.
Yep. Well, anyway, hopefully they can turn that around next year. Rest of us all had the Eels to cover the 11.5 or 13 plus. So a strong finish there for the rest of us. Round 27 results. Timmy coming home with a wet sale, $14.16.
Oh, God.
Then myself in second place, $8.07. Roo is next up, $7.79. Matty, $7.21, and yourself, Denon, $5.80. So here's how we settled at the end of the regular season. Matty out in front, $230.46.
Yes, we won.
Denon, $214.62.
Yes, we won. First and second. I got.
Roo, $200.19. Timmy, $192.47. Myself, $168.52. So,
oh my God.
So now.
That is terrible punning.
So now we hit the final series.
Oh, so looking for round two because you lost round one.
So here's how the final structures up. So Matty in first place. Matty gets the week off. He's through.
Okay.
2 versus 3 in the qualifier.
Oh, that's very good.
So Denon will take on Roo in the qualifier.
Okay.
And then Timmy will take on myself in the eliminator this weekend.
I feel like you shouldn't make finals.
No, I'm in the eliminator.
Yeah.
Against Timmy.
I'm filthy that I've come home with a wet sail. I'm still in this bloody eliminator. Shouldn't it be 1 versus 4, 2v3 and you're gone?
No.
Yep. Yes, that is
way
great
better
chat.
system.
No, it's not.
That is he's corrupt.
No, I'm in the eliminator.
You're Ricky Stewart. You're Ricky He's still ringing up, going, "We deserve to get this." Unbelievable.
I'm in the eliminator.
You came last. How did that work?
I'm fifth at the moment. I'm sitting fifth as we hit finals.
That's bullshit.
So, Matty gets the week off, enjoys his engagement. The rest of us, fair bit more to play for. And I will see you, Timmy, in the eliminator this weekend.
This is not democracy manifest.
This is democracy manifest.
This is dictatorship.
On the year that he's had, I'm not concerned. So we'll be all right.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's disrespectful.
Well, if you repeat your performance from last week, mate, I'll have you covered.
Ooh.
You'll be out in the eliminator. So,
Me?
Oh yeah, sorry, you had a good week. But the rest of you boys, I'd be sleeping with one eye open.
Wow, that's an outrage. He's just
So many twists and turns in Face the Music. That's the beauty of it, you know. It's not over till it's over.
Oh, that's great stuff. That's Face the Music, brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet, and stay tuned for the last tips.
Is it the first final system where everybody's made finals in the history of sport?
I think it is. I think it is.
Top 5, pretty standard. Used to be the top 5, didn't it, Mobsy, back in the New South Wales Cup days?
Oh, that's so. Stay tuned because we'll be locking in. We'll be locking in for Face the Music at the end of the show.
That eliminator, I tell you what. Hell of a matchup.
I can't believe you put yourself in there. That's unbelievable. Okay, code story of the week brought to you by Code Sports. Go to codesports.com.au/bloke. Use the code bloke to get your discount. Mobsy, what do we got this week, mate?
Hey boys, just on behalf of Code Sports, I'd like to congratulate Hammy on qualifying for the Eliminator and Face the Music.
Yeah.
Wow.
That'll be on the Code Sports homepage a little bit later today.
And we're all in. And you know why they're upset? Because they're looking over their shoulder. There's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal.
Oh, my God.
I've always said that, Mobsy. Watch this space.
Yeah, it'd be a headline of like corruption in Face the Music with your picture on it.
No, they won't. I'm on good terms with the team at Code Sports. So they'll look after
Mate,
me.
what do we got this week?
Well, boys, we've turned Code Sports into the home of finals footy because that's all everyone's talking about at the moment. So all our best breaking news, all the big talking points. I want to drop on you. I know we had something else we want to talk about at the start, but Tim Williams, I'm afraid to say, mate, Josh Papali'i in major doubt for Sunday's final. Went down with an ankle injury at training on Friday, was carried off the field, unable to put pressure on the foot. He's now in a moon boot and will not train until at least the captain's run on Saturday.
Yeah.
Major blow for the Raiders.
We can't win from here.
Here we go.
Can't win. It'd be a miracle if we can overcome this injury
my
concern
God.
and get the job done.
You sound like a Queensland. This is Queensland one-on-one. Yeah, Josh Papali'i using Queensland's tactics against the big dogs in Queensland. All it looks like to me, I just look at the timing, I look like a man that's scared of the Brisbane Broncos. Goes down Friday, the Broncos put on the performance on Thursday. Just saying, you be the judge.
Yeah, Joe Taps was heaps scared of Reece Walsh last year, wasn't he?
He was when he looked up at the scoreboard and seen you got lost that game. Let's go!
Yeah. Concerns for you, Tim, because if he's unable to play, Matty Nicholson or Trey Mooney likely to come in
not bad
for
replacements.
him,
Fuck.
which is good replacements there, but not what you want to see when you've rested 10 blokes from the final round to give blokes a freshen up. And
I wonder whether
avoid injury.
I wonder whether that's what pushed Ricky to come out as aggressively as he did, saying we need as long as rest as possible. You know what I mean? Like, because that's if you get an extra day of recovery, that's quite massive.
It said training mishap. Whether or not there's some smoke and mirrors going on there, I don't know. But we're like the Raiders. One thing we don't lack is forward depth, right? And if Papa's out, huge loss, of course, but he's playing relatively limited minutes these days anyway. We've got great players to come through. If Ricky wants Matty, Nicholson and Nath, we've already got this conundrum of Hosking, Sasangi and Nicholson where they probably don't all fit anyway. He's shown earlier in the year, Ricky Stewart, that he's happy to play Hosking through the middle to accommodate Nicholson, to accommodate Sasangi. So between Saulo, Mariota, Trey Mooney, we've got options.
Geez, he avoided that woe was me strategy pretty
really quickly.
That's,
that's a deeply ingrained arrogance in the Raiders. They're down there. They got all the politicians. They're all mate. Just not a good place, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, the other story that's everyone's talking about at the moment is the fact that finals footy's for the fans. So we're going to go down to Melbourne on Friday. 30,000 fans. Melbourne Bulldogs. Cracking game. Over at Go Media Stadium on the Saturday, another 25,000. It'll be awesome. Going to be packed out at GIL on the Sunday, which would be great. And then we've got 12,500 at Shark Park on Saturday. So finals for the fans, except when you play out of Shark Park, which, we've seen how it's gone all season. We've seen the delays in the redevelopment of the Leagues Club and everything that's gone on there. And unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like it's up to final standard. Phil Buzz Rothfield did a column, a big Sharks fan, and hated to write it, saying that we cannot play there going forward because as a league that's based on financial making money and being there for as many fans as possible, you're going to lock out 28,000 members from both teams come Saturday because all you're getting is 12,500 in the gates there and a couple of corporates. So, and added to that story is Andrew Abdo has come out at the NRL Finals launch on Monday morning and said enjoy that finals game, essentially Sharks fans, while you can at home, because unless there's a significant upgrade, they probably won't be playing back there in 12 months' time. They're going to revisit their finals ground strategy, which they haven't looked at for a couple of years. I know there was a big uproar a few years ago about clubs wanting to play games at their home ground, so they earn the right. So places like Penrith Park and Shark Park and places like that. So this may now be a twist where unless your home ground can hold 25,000, I don't know what the exact figures are at this point, but unless you can hold 25,000 and get the fans in the doors, then you might not be eligible to hold it. So, now about you, Hammy, which home ground will the Tigers be playing out in next year when you qualify for the finals?
Well, Suncorp's one of our home grounds. Maybe we'll play it up there, fit everyone in. That was the 12th one of the world this year. They're doing both of them up, though, the Tigers. So you never know, maybe with that redeveloped Leichhardt or something, that will nudge up towards 20 maybe. Maybe that'll be the place to do it. It's an interesting one because I probably agree. You want to get as many fans in as you can. You look at the AFL, Geelong have this same problem every year as well, and they had to move their home final to the MCG. Yes, they play a few games there through the year, but if the Sharks were to move it anywhere else, probably the place that makes the most sense would be Allianz Stadium. But you're playing the Roosters and you're taking them to Allianz Stadium when you've got the home advantage. All of a sudden, you feel like you're the away team in a home final. So it's a pretty unique situation they find themselves in probably this year. I wonder whether if they were playing like a North Queensland or an out-of-town team, maybe they would have gone, all right, you're playing it at Allianz, it's still your home game. But with the Roosters, it feels like it would be a bit stiff to make them play their home final there.
Yeah, I get it. I get all the arguments. We're a business. This is Bush League. I get the arguments. But at the end of the day, we love rugby league because most teams, as much as possible, are treated equally and you get a fair opportunity to win home games and win home finals, all that kind of stuff. So I'm more of the mind of like, they earned the right to get a home ground. Yes, you miss out on, let's say, 10,000 people, or I'll even say, we'll say 15,000 people. Yes, I understand that's not good. But I am a bigger believer in we need to make the contest as fair as possible. And the fair thing is they get a home game. Because the problem I have with making teams that don't have stadiums that are that good, they're all the teams that are the have-nots. So you're basically perpetuating the cycle of all you teams that already are underfunded, that already have a smaller fan base, less resources. Now we're punishing you again and sending you to stadiums of people that have it all. Like Roosters, huge club. Broncos, huge club. All those clubs with the big stadiums, they've got way more resources than the Sharks, way more resources than the Tigers at the moment. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the concern I have, is that just in the name of business and like we're a professional game, you're kicking the little guy. You're punching down, not punching up. And so that's a concern I have with it. Yeah, and you look at where the clubs finished. The Sharkies were what's away from finishing in the top four. So then under the new system, they finish fifth and then go to Allianz to play the Roosters, where there's literally a sign on the side of the building that says home of the Sydney Roosters. It's tough, right? So where do you find the balance with it? Honestly, I don't know. I seriously don't know what the answer is, because I get it. Like it looks Bush League when we've got 12,000 to a finals game, but they're a small club already, and then you're kicking them when they're down again by saying not only do you not have as many resources as anyone else, not only do you have a shitty stadium that the government won't upgrade because you're not a big dog like the Penrith Panthers, you're not a big dog like the Roosters. All Roosters fans always like to claim about how much input they had in getting that stadium done. But then all of a sudden turn around and go, oh, no, it's for everyone. It's not just that. So that's the concern I have, is that the haves continue to get more while the have-nots get less. And there is a big argument. I don't necessarily subscribe to this, but when you actually look at the premiers, or the minor premiers, or the top four over the last 10, 15 years, it's essentially the same 4 to 6 clubs. And that would potentially perpetuate that kind of setup. What do you reckon, Timmy?
I'm really torn, to be honest, because I want more than anything for it to be in the Shire and in Woolooware there. And, the atmosphere there will be fantastic, obviously with limited capacity. And it's one thing to move it, but like you're not moving it 10, 15 minutes up the road. Like Cronulla into Moore Park there at Allianz, you're going sort of 50 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Like it's a big
It's like Gold Coast to Brisbane nearly.
Yeah,
seriously.
it's a huge change to go there. So, but at the end of the day, we know money talks and business talks and putting bums on seats and doing all these sorts of things. But, even if you take out the example that is the Roosters this time around, which makes it particularly awkward. So I'm very glad it's at Shark Park this year. But a question to you, Mobsy, like they've just poured all this money into redevelopments. When they're all finished and the upgrades are done at Shark Park, what will capacity look like? And why has all the money of the developments not gone towards better facilities, amenities, all these sorts of things to make it a little bit more viable to host finals? Because I've been to Shark Park. I like Shark Park. It needs a lot of work. What have the developments gone to? Is it just increasing that grandstand on the eastern side, I think it is?
Yeah. It's a bit of a complex situation because the Sharks themselves, when they sold off that bit of land to do the commercial section of it and the hotel, the apartment and block and everything else, that was done first with the developer, and then that's why the Lease Club stuff there wasn't any parameters on when that could be done, so it's sat there dormant for a couple of years. So there will be some work done eventually on that grandstand, but it's not going to build it up to a really big standard where you're going to go, okay, this is purpose built for rugby league now. You see where everything's sort of locked in, so you're not going to get any more than whether you get to 20,000 and then you get any more than that, I don't know. But and for mine, there you look at that and think, geez, to your point, Dan, and how well have the Sharks gone in the last decade to be top four most years? They're always fighting thereabouts at the top four. As one of the, we did a thing the other week about big club, small club, which angered everybody about looking at things. And by all weights and measures, Cronulla are a small club. The fan base isn't massive. The home ground's not great. The finances aren't there. And continually just repeat being up there as one of the teams that have just got that structure right and competing for titles. So, I think it's a really big credit to them, but I don't see a great fix for the Sharks in the short term. And long term, you've got to sort of question, okay, what does the league look like in 10, 15 years? And I don't know if some people really want to have a look at that because it may not make for some pretty viewing.
Yeah, it's look, I know people want to get our opinions on where we land. Like right now, I always just try to lean towards what's the fairest answer. Not what makes more money, not what other fans are interested in, who earned the right for a home grand final. I tend to lean towards give them a Sharks home grand final. So that's my opinion on it. I do understand the other side of it. If you had to make a call, you're Abdo right now, and let's say they had the power between them playing at Allianz this finals or Shark Park, what would you do?
I would say Shark Park this year. I just think there just needs to be, and I'm sure they've had them, but these tough discussions had of, all right, moving forward. And look, maybe they had these conversations in the last couple of years, but moving forward, what are you going to do to get an extra 3,000 to 5,000 in the venue? What are you going to do about the amenities? What are you going to do? Like just a checklist of, if you want to continue playing finals here, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. And that's easier said than done, but give them an opportunity to go, all right, go out and fight for these improvements for your stadium. And I'm sure they're trying at Shark Park. But if you want to keep the finals moving forward, you need to check all these boxes.
Hammy?
Gun to head. I think particularly this game against the Roosters, it's at Shark Park. I do feel like if it was a interstate team or something like that, though, or there was I'd say probably played at Allianz.
Yeah, that definitely is more fair. I think the Roosters thing is what
that's the kicker. It's such a unique situation, really. But yeah, they've earned the right to have a home one, so they deserve it for the time being.
Now, I reckon if they'd probably move to our core. I don't reckon they'd play at Allianz.
Didn't they have a final in a Allianz or something recently, and the turnout was terrible?
They played it against the Cowboys.
Cowboys, it was a week 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the turnout was embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was. Well, there was an enormous AFL final next door at the SCG the same night. But yeah, it was like 13, probably almost the same they would have got to Shark Park.
Yeah, and so there's also this idea that they definitely would have this huge crowd. Now, granted, it's the Roosters, so they'd have at least a decent crowd.
So it wasn't the Roosters, though, and it was an interstate team or like a...
I think it looks better on TV, a Chockers small ground than a Allianz Stadium filled with 10,000 people.
I'll tell you another thing, and the people with the pen and paper won't be looking at this like I will, but the amount of kids that'll be out there this weekend, hopefully from a locals perspective, the Sharkies win. And the crowd will be going bonkers, and there'll be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds who'll be going, what a brilliant night of football this is. I want to go and play rugby league on the weekend, boys and girls. It's just not the same at Allianz, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe they get 40,000 and the Sharks win and the kids do things, but it's not the same as the venue in the Shire, kids going up the road to watch
There's a connection to the local area too.
Yes, massively.
It's the local stadium. And I will say, like, the Cronulla area, the Shire, like, that's a hub of junior sport. Like, it's massive. It's actually surprising that the club is so small when the activity for sport in the Shire is huge. What about you, Mobsy? Gun to head, you had to make a call. What call are you making?
I'd leave them there because when you think about the fans, I kind of relate it to the Panthers the other week when they rested players and everyone was saying, won't somebody think of the children? The Panthers, the fans.
Four Panthers fans, four premierships.
Tell me one Panthers fan who said, Ivan, don't rest those players and have them fresh for another run come finals time.
Yeah.
We want a home. We want a good run to the finals. We want to win another title. Same with Sharks fans. We don't want to give up home ground advantage. So it sucks because, if it wasn't the Roosters going, the alternative is going to the Roosters' home ground, then we'd have a bit more of a conversation. So it stays at Shark Park for the time being. I wish the end result was bigger stadium for them.
Yeah.
More seating.
That area, if you could put a nice stadium in, it would be unbelievable. It's such a great area. Obviously, I live just down the road in Caringbah.
The problem is they used to be able to fill, it used to have 22,000 and they renovated it.
Well, they were desperate for money. They were on the brink of bankruptcy. What was it, like a decade ago, maybe a bit longer?
Yeah.
They were essentially nearly gone, and that's why they had to do all this.
Why can't they play at Cogra? It's 20,000. It's 10 minutes up the road.
I get it. It's still not a home game. From my perspective, I would way rather win than play at a different stadium.
If I'm the Sharks, I'm staying at Shark Park. Yeah. Absolutely no doubt.
Sharkies definitely, they want to stay.
Yeah. It's just the wider audience. I guess, is there any kind of data on how much are they actually losing? Not we would have had 40,000 people at Allianz. Like actually what they would be losing.
Well, there's nothing like that, mate. But to your point about the Cowboys game, I think there was 15,000, 16,000 at Allianz.
It was a pits watching on TV.
And it's an interesting point though. Now that we're in finals, all the gate takers, these are NRL gate takers. These aren't Sharks home ground. You get the money or. Panthers or Warriors or whoever it is, it goes to the NRL now. So it's the NRL's coffers that are being affected by it. So the NRL will have a bit of a look at it and think, okay. But
that's where the pressure comes from.
Yeah, but to defend the NRL, it was their decision a few years ago to abandon week 1 bigger ground. Say, okay, week 2 you've got to go to the bigger ground in your regional area, in your area they're at, but week 1 you can have your home final. So, yeah.
I think that's a pretty fair compromise. I think that's pretty good. Like week 1, you get that first crack at it. Super interesting, mate. Just quickly before we go, another story, super interesting. So stats suggest Nathan Cleary is the most popular player in the NRL, which is funny. I even though Cleary is obviously the bigger player, blah, 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 get all that. I actually thought Reece Walsh would be the biggest player in the NRL, but it's actually Nathan Cleary, and he's turned out how much money this year?
Yeah, Nathan Cleary. The NRL does this engagement study and looking over a few different metrics, and I was the same as you. I would have had Reece Walsh, I think, just by the eye test it says him, but yeah, they've come back to us and said that it's Nathan Cleary, but he's turned down $1 million in sponsorship this year alone to focus on football.
Wow.
So, and this is crazy numbers when you think, wow, that there's such a short shelf life of players and what they can earn, but his determination for what he wants to do on the field and the lack of distractions. But yeah, there's an interesting top 10 there, but Reece Walsh definitely up there. I think we all obviously saw last week with the toilet brouhaha and how he steered into that, which was
when they went down to Newcastle. So when they played the Knights, apparently at their captain's run the day before in Newcastle, they got 5,000 people down to it. The Brisbane Broncos in Newcastle. Respectfully, the Knights can't even get... They'd get maybe 1,000 to a captain's run. And I know they're there every single week, but they'd have to make a grand final to do those kind of numbers.
Yeah, and Reece Walsh on the sidelines for about an hour after the game, signing autographs, taking selfies, doing all that with the fans. So,
which he definitely doesn't have to do, but he does it, which doesn't get enough credit.
No, it doesn't get enough credit.
I saw he turned down a bit of a merch opportunity as well. Legitimately, the Reece Plumbing shirts.
Yeah,
75,000
would have been.
To concentrate on footy.
Yep. And I love the toilet seats at Suncorp on the weekend.
So good.
Good.
A few A-League fans. That's the trophy, isn't it? The toilet seat.
Yes, it is.
Mobsy, another one, and just
I was just laughing at A-League fans. Like, I didn't. Wow,
Dang.
too far. Oh, I used to play soccer.
mate. Buzzy's calling from the weekend. Saint Sinner Shushan. Sorry to put you under the spotlight here on the spot, but Buzz, Shush number 2. Which controversial rugby league podcast member is under investigation for corruption? Anyone you can shed a bit of light on this,
Holy
mate?
No,
shit.
I didn't have that one. That's not mine. I'll have to ask Buzzy and see.
What
if
the hell?
Wouldn't be me on Face to Music.
Hadn't happened yet. You're all
So
sweet.
Buzz had the scoop before you did it. That's crazy. That's how good Buzz is. He knew you were going to do it and he's already got you under the scoop.
Well,
Wow.
well, there's nothing to
Rugby league
investigate.
podcaster under investigation for corruption?
It's Hammy.
What?
No, it's not. Legitimate top 5. Go through.
That's how good Buzz is.
Yep.
So you can't give us an insight into how Buzz knew he was going to be this corrupt?
No, well, I know he's a big fan of Hammy, so there's
He's
some
only human.
inside mail there. I don't think he'd mess with Hammy though. I think you got a bit of sway,
A bit of power, you
a bit
reckon?
of sway in the Rothfield house, courtesy of his son. His son's a big fan of yours, so
Yep.
Wow, okay. So is it say more to come underneath the
Well, you
article?
know, Guru's not here, so, you know.
Guru under the pump.
An
Okay.
interesting podcast to miss, isn't
Okay.
it?
The Roo. Okay.
just seeing if anyone's sweating here in the panel. But you all seem pretty calm.
Hammy,
at the
Hammy
moment,
looks
so.
nervous.
Nah, fine.
Honestly, I think the bloke community would just go, fuck, who cares?
I'm prepared for the eliminator, mate. I'm fine.
Oh, mate, thanks so much, Robsy, coming on. Go to Code Sports. Got that story in regards to Cleary. Obviously got the Sharks story. Got some other stories as well this week.
Yeah, had a good chat with Xavier Coates, who's recently re-signed with the Storm for another year. But more importantly, ahead of the finals, getting into his take on the tactics from the Broncos at the weekend we've got the most dangerous attacking weapon in rugby league. How do we keep him grounded?
Mate, listen to the podcast. That's
Don't
what I
let
said.
him get up. Don't let him get up.
That's what I said I'd do about a month ago when we were talking about how would you stop it. I said, mate, just give penalty away.
Yeah, just that's it. Back your defence in and try and limit him as much as you can. So that was a really interesting tactic. I know whether the blueprint will be repeated come finals time, but had a good chat with Xavier Coates on that one. So yeah, there's a couple of good yarns heading into finals time. So and all that breaking news, Timmy will try and update you on Josh Papali'i when we can, mate. But thoughts
Thank you,
and
mate.
prayers.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion because like as long as you don't make it look obvious, like is a ref going to have the guts to sin bin someone for that? It's a fucking, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be that ref because it's a tough call to make. Like I know the Stags one that happened on the weekend was so obvious, but everyone outside of that, they were pretty good at covering the fact that they were escorting him off. What did he say? Just give us a little sneak peek on what he said into it.
Yeah, he said, look, he knew it was coming.
Okay.
So, and this is to Coates's his mindset as a player. He saw it coming and he said, it's got to be on me to be better.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, they did their job and somewhat illegally at times, but he goes, it was on me to make sure that I'm in those positions and I'm taking the best opportunity I can at that. So
Very Bellamy-esque.
Yes,
Yeah.
and there was a little comment about, well, look, it would be nice if the refs keep an eye on this going forward. That's probably from the Cam Smith school of approaching referees rather than yelling and screaming with vitriol. It's, are you sure about that? Oh, did you see that? Maybe next time go and have a look. So whether some teams will be willing to try him out this weekend, because it is a big call to see whether you...
Mate, that Smithy stuff is like so interesting. Like anytime a captain goes sprinting at a ref yelling, you're never going to get anywhere with it, but it happens every game. Whereas Smithy would always walk across really slowly, talk really slowly, and then, but by the night, he's had 30 seconds rest. He's just the master at it.
And I hated it around Origin time because Paul Gallen, love Gal, so parochially a blue, and he got played off a break by Cam Smith because he'd be full of emotion at the time and pleading with the referee or questioning, and the negotiator would just wander up and just,
No, he's the best. There's never been
it was
anyone.
It's like the Kirk Gidley flick. You knew it was coming, but you just couldn't stop it.
Mate, he's a bit. Well, as a ref, how can you, if someone comes at you politely, you've kind of got to show them some modicum of respect. So there, those articles are on Code Sports, guys. Make sure to go and check them out. Thanks for joining us, Mozzie. Appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, boys. Have a good week.
Alrighty, it is time for Menulog's Hungriest player. And the hungriest player this week could have been Cleary, could have been Walsh, but I'm going for the big fella, Payne Haas. Unbelievable against the Melbourne Storm on the weekend. Guess how many offloads he had on the weekend, boys? Against the best wrestlers, the best in contact in the competition.
I'll go 7.
Okay, well, you went too far. 6. Oh, you're supposed to say 3 or 4. Ruins the moment.
You've forgotten, Kempy, that I'm a super coach and offloads and tackle breaks and all these little things are my life.
Okay. Well, you nailed it nearly. So 6 offloads against the Melbourne Storm. I think it's like 150 metres or something like that. I think he's only missed 3 or 4 tackles in like 6 weeks or something. Mate, we're talking about... I think the argument in regards to individual ability as a front rower, I think the argument is over as to him being the greatest ever front rower. Now, in regards to the impact on a team, you've also Glenn Lazarus, you could talk about Webke. Obviously, Fish and Leota as a pairing is the best pairing ever, in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of people say Petro and Webke, but if you look at Leota's and Fish's resume, it's better than Webke and Petro. And also, even at an international level, they beat Australia by a record margin together. Anyway, that aside, Payne Haas for me, what else is there to say about the bloke?
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make around like where we put him in the all-time front rows because I think you're right, Kempy. Individual ability, he's doing what I've certainly never seen any other front rower do, but impact on a team and being able to, like you said, you compare him to James Fisher-Harris and individually, Payne Haas is the significantly better footballer, but results count and the way you lead a team count. That's not to say that Payne Haas doesn't do that, but even in the Origin arena, he's had his moments, but not destroyed it as such.
Pretty good this year, I reckon.
Yeah, good, absolutely. But, we're talking, the best of all time sort of front rowers.
Yeah, it's fair.
But in a month's time, and I hope we're not, but he could come out and just destroy this final series and then, he almost becomes clear number one if he destroys this series and leads the Broncos to a premiership. Even what he did on the weekend, he ran for 118 metres, which was his second lowest run metres of the season, which blows my mind because the way he tore the Storm apart in this and just created broken play and staggered defenders and all sorts of things, it was on another level.
What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, he's a machine and has done it for such a long time as well. The standard's been so high for a long time. We've had, a couple of players this year in the competition probably pop their head up at times and go toe-to-toe with him stats-wise. Terrell May earlier in the year was, doing Payne Haas-style numbers, but, obviously not as many run meters this weekend for him, but still, the 6 offloads.
Probably why his run meters were down, because he was offloading so much.
That's right, but he's just his ability to kind of consistently perform at this extremely high level for so long, definitely got to be right up there, one of the all-time front rowers.
So since round 14, he's missed 3 tackles.
It's so ridiculous.
Since round 14, he's missed 3 tackles. So we're talking all the way back against the Gold Coast Titans, and he's essentially averaged about 35 tackles a game. That is just insane.
Far out.
That is crazy. And when you think about, he's not even known for his defence. His attack is what he's known for. So he's our hungriest player, guys.
In Origin, from 17 games from 2019 to 2025, he's missed 5 tackles. What?
What the fuck, man?
He also didn't miss a single tackle in Origin series.
The last one that just went.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't miss one. Missed 1 tackle in 2024, 1 tackle in 2023.
And he ran for the most metres of any forward in this Origin series, I'm pretty sure.
Honestly.
That's crazy, bro. As I said, those individual, tell me another front row doing stats like that. And also, he's been the Broncos Player of the Year, I think, 5 years, 5 in a row, 5-6 years in a row. It's just incredible. So he's our hungriest player. Use code HAAS, H-A-A-S, for $7 off Asian this week. And our local shout-out goes to the Lou Rose Restaurant, serving sensational Chinese food in Sydney's inner west. If you want to get $7 off Asian restaurant near you, use code HAAS. We also have another deal with Menulog via the Bloke Club. When you spend $30, you save $10. By the Bloke Club. A unique code will be sent out to your email, so make sure to check your email. If you're a part of the Bloke Club, check your email and you'll get that. Spend $30, $10 off. That's an outstanding deal, and you can only get it being a part of Bloke Club. Make sure to join the Bloke Club, www.bloke.club. We give away prizes every single month, and it's totally free to join. Okay, it's time for the Team of the Week, the Grumpy Coffee Team of the Week. Get your Grumpy Coffee at grumpycoffee.com.au. We just had a crazy Father's Day drop, guys. Sold out within a week. People loving the coffee. You will not be disappointed. Trust me, give her a try. We've got ground, whole bean pods. Gets to your house in 24 to 40 hours. Any issues, you shoot our customer service a message. We'll take care of you. Alrighty, it's time for the Grumpy Team of the Week. And it is at fullback, Walsh. On the wings, Mark Nwanga Nituwase. And there's also, I always get this wrong, Nahafahu from the Dolphins. Nafahu. Apologies, I'm getting that wrong. But he was absolutely gun on the weekend. Brimo at centre, Hammer at the other centre, Walters, Cleary, Haas, Healy from the Warriors, he was outstanding. Rudolph, Crichton, Jack Williams, Aaron Clark, Mitchell Moses, Tedesco, Cooper Bai from the Titans, and Junior Paulo from the Eels. That is our team of the week, guys. Alrighty, let's get into the Kayo Can't Miss moment. I mean, it's got to be Reece Walsh's try celebration, surely. A lot of young fellas, and look, this could be to his detriment. I know he's a polarising figure. You know, if you're a fan of him, you absolutely love him. If you don't, he frustrates you or whatever. I love the fact that he hasn't allowed all this negativity to take away the cheeky part of his nature. And very rarely, with the amount of controversy he's been in his career, would have the guts to go, I'm leaning all the way into the toilet water stuff. To score the try he did against the Melbourne Storm in a top four, qualifier, and then to have that cheeky celebration. Listen, as long as you're not doing anything illegal, you're not hurting anyone, I think don't change Reece Walsh. This is who you are. You're always going to be like this, and it's fun. It's fun as a rugby league fan.
For sure, mate. As I said, polarising character, but he's an entertainer, and he puts bums on seats, and he's going to do so for a long, long time in rugby league games. And honestly, the whole toilet seat stuff with the brand spanking new toilet there, it was just the fun police coming out and said, no, you can't do that. That's weird. That's different. Was it weird? Yeah, it was. Was it a bit of a misfire from Walsh? Yeah, it was a bit. It was weird as hell, but who cares? You have a bit of fun with it, a bit of a prank on social media. Like, get over it. And
well, tell me, what are some of the stuff your friends sent you in your early 20s?
Yeah.
If it ever got out to the public.
Well, it can't go on this podcast, exactly.
Yeah. Because that was a private video sent to someone.
Yeah, and that's it. So it's just like, who cares? And it's for him, as he said, to embrace it. Like, no, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go all in on this.
Yep.
It's fun. We're talking about rugby league and celebrations and all this. It's a good thing.
And also spare me with the think of the kid stuff. Like, bruh. If you can't explain to your kid, don't drink toilet water. If you're
on Reece Walsh,
it's not Reece Walsh's fault. And also, though, if that's the worst thing you have to worry about with your kid on the internet, you've won. You have won. The only thing that you had to is you caught your kid about to drink toilet water. That's the worst thing they learned on the internet. You're the best parent in history. On the internet. Hammy, love to get your thoughts on the Kayo Can't Miss moment.
The irony of the celebration was for his number 2 as well. Which I'm quite like. It was the second try. So extra little bit of a cherry on top there for Walsh.
Look, I didn't expect Reece Walsh to come with details like that. That's almost like a double entendre in a rap.
Mr. Attention to detail.
Okay, and Hammy picks it up because he's corrupt. You see all the little corrupt details.
Please. I wasn't named in Buzz's article. It was Guru, who's not here today. He'll be playing in the qualifier this weekend. All eyes will be on the qualifier. But no, Reece Walsh, outstanding. I thought, probably his last month of football, he is
red hot.
He's probably the most informed player in the comp at the moment. And off the bat, it's one of those runs of form that could almost lead a team to a premiership. He's been really hot at the moment, and that the celebration was, it was a pisser. So funny.
Man, if only he had done it in Try July.
Oh, I know.
Because they would have done it. That's a 10K. Sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is.
Oh, that's great. And look, the thing I'm loving about Walsh is, and look, I always knew that he had a bit of 5'8" in him. You could see it. Did I know that he could be an actual 5'8" when it comes to his kicking game? His kicking game, look, it's not the best in the comp. It's pretty friggin' good. It's pretty good for a bloke that plays fullback. 40-20s, bombs that are hard to catch. He's just so well-rounded. Is he as big as a Tom Trbojevic or a Hayne? Or he's not as physically imposing. But in regards to having different weapons, there's an argument made he has the most weapons that we've seen in quite a while.
I think he's got the most in the NRL. If Nathan Cleary had Reece Walsh's natural ability with speed and the ball playing and throw a bit of kicking on top of that, he'd win the Dally M every single year and be unstoppable. Reece Walsh is a natural freak with what he does, and we're seeing him fully fit and firing at the moment. And there used to be a time, and I'm saying early this season, where there used to be a down game every sort of 3 or 4 weeks. What he's done over the last 5-6 weeks, if he can string this together across a final series, you look at the Brisbane performance against the Storm on the weekend, they were decent. It was Reece Walsh and Payne Haas. Payne Haas won't play a bad game in finals. We know that. If Reece Walsh can light up and play, an 8 out of 10 game by his standards through finals, Brisbane probably win the comp. It's that simple.
It's crazy. It's crazy it has that much impact on games. Very similar to a guy like Latrell Mitchell, that if they do put it together, they can lead you to a grand final at the very least. Okay, after 27 rounds, finals here. You can watch the NRL live with no ad breaks in play on Kayo. It's also the last round of the NRLW and the Eels' big win over the over the weekend means they're just outside the top 6. They need to beat the Bulldogs this week and hope the Titans lose to Canberra to make it. You can watch every NRLW game live and ad break free during play on Fox League. And the roar of the engines returns this weekend as the supercars hit the bend for the Enduro Cup. Watch every practice qualifying session and race live and ad break free during racing on Kayo. And the motorsport action continues as MotoGP brings the heat to San Marino for a fast, fierce and action-packed weekend. Watch every qualifying practice and race live and ad break free from lights out to the checkered flag on Kayo. Alrighty, it is time for Service of the Week, brought to you by Aspley Mazda and Luke Camilleri. And I tell you what, Aspley Mazda and Lukey, they have one of the biggest sales that you have ever heard of when it comes to cars. They haven't done this sale for 6 years. It's happening this week, the M-Day sale at Aspley Mazda. Lukey, we've got him on the line, mate. Walk us through what's happening this week. It's the biggest sale ever.
It is, Denon. It's our biggest one. It's our grand final week, is how we put it in automotive industry. So, we do it one day, once a year. Has been out of action for 6 years, but we're back. So this is huge for us, absolutely huge. So Aspley Mazda has special pricing on cars, plus 3 years free servicing on every car that's sold, plus some other things that are going on. But it's the week leading up to it, and then the Saturday's game day, and it is huge. So if you're in the market to buy a car, there's no better sale date or calendar date of the year than this one to buy.
Okay, give Lukey a message, LDC_01, to get exclusive details on that. Make sure to contact him directly. Timmy, we got something here?
Lukey, you just trying to divert attention away from the Dragons' end of season, mate?
Oh.
We're not talking about that today. We're not talking about that.
Once in 6 year sale, just to deflect from the.
I admire your commitment. That's a real fan, willing to do a whole sale just to deflect. It's basically like a CIA operation where they release fake news to deflect from a huge story going on.
Come on, boys, let's focus on him, Mate,
in the service of the week, it is Nicho Hynes. It is Nicho Hynes, essentially having a hand in every single one of the Sharks' tries, except for the one with Brayley with the Connor Tracy knock-on. Mate, he looked absolutely outstanding on the weekend. That's why it kills me to say this. He has been charged with a grade 2 hip drop. If he can't downgrade it, he will miss the finals game for the Sharkies. I'm just going to say my opinion straight up, guys. I think this is insane. I think we've gone so far with this hip drop nonsense. We need to realise that you get injured playing rugby league. Now, if he had have been dragging behind him, then lost his feet, or the classic hip drop, I feel like the definition of hip drop, when it first got brought in, was pretty clear. You know, it was about holding onto the back of someone, losing your legs, and then landing with your hips on the back of someone's ankles. Now, it's essentially anyone that tackles from behind, if you land on their legs, it's considered a hip drop, even if your hip had nothing to do with it, even if you made contact immediately and you weren't riding behind them, then losing your legs. I think it's insane that he's getting grade 2. And I'll go even further. I've got to be honest, if this was one of the bigger clubs, I don't reckon they charge grade 2. If this was Tedesco, or if this was Nathan Cleary or Reece Walsh, there is no way he's getting grade 2 for week 1 of the finals. Oh, not no way. I don't know that for sure. This is just an opinion. I think it's crazy. Timmy, thoughts, mate?
Please let Nicho play.
Oh.
Honestly, the way this is all played out, Nicho, who's not had his best year by his lofty standards. His last month of footy has been sublime, and he's getting back towards his best level of footy coming into finals, which is such an exciting thing for Sharkies fans. And if he gets rubbed out of this game and the Sharkies get done, it'll just be like the big what if. What if Nicho played in that game? What would have changed? And I'm with you, Campy. We've spoke about it time and time again around the hip drops, but to now have an example of one of the biggest stars of the game and key member of the Sharks team potentially rubbed out as a result of it, it's brutal. I feel so sorry for players because they have tackled the same way their entire careers. And when I say that, I mean from a 5-6-year-old when they started playing the game. I'm all for trying to rub it out of the game because we're seeing some of the injuries that come with it. I get that, but to ask a player to change something they've been doing for 25, 30 years, sometimes longer with certain players, it's just extremely difficult to do. And now that Nicho could miss her final because of it, and to your point of the definition, losing your feet in the air, all these things, please let him
And
play.
Montoya was running overs. He stepped back inside. These things happen in the blink of an eye. And as I said, it wasn't like he had a hold of him, then lost his feet. He hit him with his shoulder as he was falling because the trajectory, everything had changed. And I get it, Montoya's going to be out for the final series, but injuries happen in rugby league. It'd be different if there was any if there was 1% of intent and he got injured. then I'd be like, okay, you had certain amount of time to fix things in that tackle to stop him from getting injured. I just don't know what he does in that situation. Hammy, thoughts?
Yeah,
mate?
I wonder if there was any sort of severity added to the charge, given the fact that Marcelo Montoya was recovering from a highly publicised circumcision injury. I just wonder whether they wanted to make a bit of an example out of Nicho in this instance. And if that's the case, I mean, we've got to get that out of the game.
What, protect the helmets, you're saying?
Protect the helmet, I think.
Protect the helmet.
Yeah,
So this is
yeah.
a protect the helmet charge.
I think it is. Yeah, grade 1.
Mate, Lukey, as obviously, we're all fans of the game, but as someone that's not as in-depth into the game as we are, we watch it so much. You obviously watch a lot of it, but obviously not as much us. What are your thoughts about something like this?
Oh, crazy. It's my biggest frustration as a fan. You watch it and it just it cruels the game, really. I get really frustrated on it, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it's really frustrating. Not my scene, that's for sure.
And you're a Dragons man, so you should hate the Sharkies. You should hate the Sharkies.
I should. But you look at that, and I was looking at that yesterday, and you look at the final series and what it does, and it's the controversy that comes with it. Yeah, it's not good.
And Kempy, it's like you look at it as well. The most recent news is that Montoya, it's not a syndesmosis injury. It is something to do with the ankle, but he's likely to play again in the finals. So unlikely for the Melbourne clash, but more than likely to play week 2 of finals after that. So but I hate the fact, and whether they say it does or doesn't, that
it does.
The nature of the injury impacts it. Like, it shouldn't matter if it is season-ending or not. People will disagree, but I'm just like, make it a standalone incident. Don't look at the severity, because if someone does something awful and a player escapes without injury, well, they can still get a month or 2 months or 3 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, put it this way. If he gets up and plays that ball,
Nothing
it's
happens.
not a penalty, and also we don't even talk about it. It's not even a fine. It's a nothing thing. That's how you should know whether, like, he definitely shouldn't miss a finals games, because regardless of what you want to say, finals games mean more. Like, people try to pretend, you should have the same kind of standards for any game, whether it's finals or in season. But we don't even ref the same for finals footy. Like, it's not the same. It's not the same.
If Nicho did that 2 weeks ago and he missed round 27, no one blinks an eyelid when he gets to week. Like, no one cares. Finals is different, and I wish it would be adjudicated differently when it comes to finals, however that might be.
Mate, push it to next year if you have to. If you're so keen on it. Mate, I think it's crazy. I understand that people go, oh, come on, mate. Like, Montoya could miss 2 games. What if the Bulldogs get knocked out? But as I said, like, sometimes you get injured on a footy field. If we are going to adjudicate things by injuries, like, you may as well throw the rule book out and just go on, okay, how long's he out for? Okay, we'll give that to the person that did it. So I don't agree with it. I think Nicho Hynes has been outstanding for the last month of footy. Is a really interesting question, and we'll probably get into it in the game, so I'll stick around for it when we get into the game review. But, like, isn't it so strange how whenever Hynes is out, Trindle plays better. Whenever Trindle is out, Hynes plays better. It is just such a strange setup, which we'll get to the review. Guys, if you need a car, like, seriously, this is the week to do it. There's no better week. It's 6 years since the last time Aspley Mazda have done this. Give Lukey a message, LDC_01. Give him a follow on Instagram as well. Lukey, thanks so much for joining us, mate. And last word before your huge game to the public.
No, appreciate it, boys. No, this is the week to buy. So if you're in the market, come and see us. DM me for more details on it. But it is an absolute banger of a sale and one not to miss.
But you know what? Before you go, and look, we can cut this out. If you're gonna hate me for this. So when we did the whole giveaway, and we can cut this out, mate. If you're gonna hate me. But anyway, we did the giveaway. It was a car, which is an incredible giveaway that this bloke put forward, and Aspley Mazda put forward for a bloke community. And so the car had already been purchased, brought in, ready for the person. This guy is such a good bloke. The person that won the car, they wanted cash. He gave him cash.
Oh, stop it.
Kept the car that he'd already purchased and gave him cash. I'm sorry for embarrassing Lukey, but I had to say it. It's been so long now. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I had to say it, bro. So apologies, but I had to let the people know that he gave him cash instead of the car, mate. So thanks for doing that for the bloke community, mate.
Very welcome.
There we go. So, mate, appreciate it. Good luck this week. And, hopefully the Dragons can, come 12th next year or something like that?
Come on. Ease up, mate.
The Broncos are red hot right now. I can get cocky. Actually, you know what? The Dragons beat us this year.
Dragons beat a lot of good teams.
Okay, true.
They beat us too.
Lukey, thanks so much, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you, boys.
Look, it's time for the SubDog bounce back, and it is the Titans. The Titans have avoided the wooden spoon. The comeback against the Tigers, it was 28-12 at halftime, and the Tigers were flying. They came back for an amazing win. Guys, as we said last week, Subway is back. bringing back the iconic SubDog. After its massive success in 2022 and 2024, the SubDog is back in Australia and New Zealand. And it gets better though. Subway are not just bringing back the SubDog, but they're bringing back a full SubDog range, introducing 2 brand new, fully loaded, flavor-packed builds, the barbecue bacon loaded SubDog and the Mexican loaded SubDog. I mean, talk about... look, Brimo must have had a few SubDogs before that game because he was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, he was, unfortunately, as a West Tigers fan, we had no answer to AJ on the weekend. He was sensational, probably say one of his better games for the year here with a couple of tries. They were outstanding. Second half, the Titans, they scored, 30 unanswered points?
Listen, did you see the photo of Brimo on the weekend with the shirt off? Listen, I tell you what, look, this is all allegedly. I don't know if there's any connection, but if eating SubDogs give you a rig like that, I need a SubDog right now.
100%.
Because that body it's bodying.
Yeah, I'll do some dark things for barbecue bacon loaded SubDog right now because that sounds unreal. And yeah, Brimo and the Titans, they showed a lot of ticker and like it achieved a lot for a game that seemed like probably didn't. Avoiding the wooden spoon, it's a great thing for them. Sending Desi Hasler out on a winning note and farewelling him in style was a great thing for them. And, you know, the whole what's the best spine for the Titans and what are the best positions for AJ Brimson. And look, one game isn't going to change my opinion on where AJ Brimson is best utilised at the Gold Coast Titans, but you saw on the weekend the amount of damage he did playing centre there. Maybe there's a world where he can be a centre in this team.
And he wrote in his caption, not a centre, which is very cheeky, like that. So listen, that's the SubDog comeback because it's one of the biggest comebacks in the food industry. One of the biggest comebacks in the food industry. That's what they're saying anyway. And this is extremely limited time, guys, so do not miss this opportunity. Get in Subway as soon as you can to try these new loaded SubDogs. Okay, guys, as you know, heading into finals footy, we're not going to do some of the games where they had nothing to play for. Like, for example, we're not going to spend a lot of time on the Knights or the Raiders, Dolphins, not really, a little bit, but not that long. So all the games that didn't really mean that much, we probably won't spend. But we'll be speaking about the NRL Finals, and then there's some games like the Eels that were great. So if we do miss your team, apologies, guys. We say every week, but we still have comments about people being upset with miss your team. Guys, we're not doing it intentionally. It's just the way the finals footy has happened where we need to spend more time on things that still matter at the moment.
We have a season recap coming out at the end of the season where we chat about each team. Stay tuned for that. 3.5 hours, exactly. So we'll get there.
We will get a deep dive into your season. It's a season review. We spend a good 20 to 30 minutes on everything that happened. Okay, NRL Finals, let's talk about it, boys. So Friday, 7:50, this is all on Kayo, you can get it. Sydney time, Storm v Bulldogs on Friday, 7:50. Saturday, 4 p.m, Sydney time, Warriors v Panthers. Saturday night, 7:50 Sydney time, Sharks v Roosters. And then Sunday, to wrap it up, Sydney time, 4:05, Raiders v Broncos. We'll start from the top. Storm v Bulldogs. Interestingly, I reckon the Storm are probably, look, not happy they got the Bulldogs, but if you're a Storm team that's down on confidence, and then on the flip side as well, if you're a Bulldogs team down on confidence, I reckon they'd be granted, I reckon the Storm would probably rather land like maybe a Warriors or a Sharks, but like without that, you know, being able to land those two specific games, I reckon they're kind of both probably pretty happy that they're going up against a team that's probably not got that much confidence. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah, for sides that finish second and third, neither of them are coming into the finals with major confidence or any form or any of that sort of thing, and both have a few excuses, but I think you're right. I think the Doggies in particular, like, I feel like internally they'd have belief, and it feels like that at the club this year. They go, you know, people are still doubting, saying, you know, we can't go all the way. I reckon the Doggies are sitting there going, you know, yeah, we can. Like, we've got everything we need, and we're the best defensive side in the competition, and that's what wins games of finals footy and premierships. And they will go into this game as underdogs, and it's a Storm outfit missing Jerome Hughes. Pappenhausen had his head knocked. Like, they're under strength. They're down on confidence, and the Dogs will be going, beautiful, we're still not expected to win this game. Why can't we go down there and win this?
Nothing to lose, really.
Essentially nothing to lose, which is weird for a team that's had such a great year and finished third, but that's what it feels like, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Anything on that quickly?
Yeah, well, they I was just going to say the Dogs pushed the Storm down there a couple of weeks ago, and probably since that point, the Dogs are probably fitter on paper than the Storm are now, so maybe there's a bit of confidence to be had there. I don't think the Dogs, though, have really gelled or clicked with this new kind of spine, so Storm are $1.49, favourites at home.
Okay.
Tough to beat down there, Dogs $2.64.
There's value there, $2.60 on the Dogs.
There's value everywhere.
Yeah. Matty, just quickly before we go to the next game?
Yeah, it's funny, the Dogs, like, I think this season it's obviously been a tale of two halves, and I have no doubt that after a full preseason, they're going to click next year, and they're going to be a force next year. I reckon early prediction, I reckon they'll be in the top 4 next year, but I hope they prove me wrong because I love seeing the Dogs win, but the evidence that we've got in the last few weeks, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Okay, on to the next game. Panthers must be, and look, yes, you are going to play the Warriors in New Zealand, which is a tough one, but Panthers have, in regards to like nailing, making certain decisions to like land at the right spot, of course they'd want to get 2 bites of the cherry, but to land Warriors, I reckon the Panthers are pretty happy with that. And the Warriors, like, it really is nothing to lose. Like, no one is going to give the Warriors an opportunity here. You're at home. It's a really good opportunity to ambush the Premiers. Like, a really good opportunity. You've got nothing to lose.
It's incredible the importance of mentality in sport, Kempy, that you'd know far better than I would. Whether you're going into games playing for something or not, or whatever it might be. And like, I even used the Broncos and Storm on the weekend as an example. Like, yes, things went wrong for the Storm. They had injuries and whatnot, but the Broncos were playing for top 4.
Yeah.
The Storm were playing for nothing at the end of the day. And in this game, you're right, like, if the Warriors bow out week 1 of finals, they'll be devastated at what's happened and how it's unfolded after being almost locked to the top 4. But you're right, they've got nothing to lose in front of home fans. They'll give it everything they've got. They'll shake this game up and the Panthers up. Panthers have still got everything to lose. Like, they were last at round 12, whatever it was, but they're coming in firm favourites and they'd be sitting there going, and they're rested, going, we should come out and win this game, which is so exciting for the Warriors to go, let's ambush them, but we're ambushing them in New Zealand.
Yeah. Just 80-minute performance. Yeah. I mean, you look at the Origin this year, sorry to bring it up, but like, teams have done more with far less than the Warriors right now. They've done more with far less, and it's a real opportunity at home to just come out and somehow, some way knock the Premiers out, or the reigning Premiers.
Yeah, I don't know if they're...
I don't know if they're up to it, but it's an opportunity to happen.
It is an opportunity to happen, for sure. They've lost 5 of their last 7, and one that they won was against the Dragons over there. I'd say probably the Dragons were the better team over there in New Zealand. They're $3.50, the Warriors. Panthers $1.31.
Wow.
They're very short. I think
$3.50.
the Panthers are just one of these teams, doesn't matter whether it's this week or any other week in the finals, they're just a team you don't want to play. I think they've... they started the season obviously very badly, but they've really set themselves for this. Yes, a couple of close losses to other top 4 teams, but they've refreshed guys. They're kind of getting back into their workloads as they hit the finals. So I think it's going to be a tough outing for the Warriors over there. Yeah.
Now onto the Panthers side, it's all just about being clinical, really. But like, they've done it so many times. That's a scary thing about facing the Panthers in any of these games leading up to the grand finals. Like, this is like second nature almost to them. They've done it so many times. They know exactly what is required to get the job done. The only question with the Panthers is, how do they look without Luai and Fish in these big games? Because they're such an important part of it. But also just some of these rookies that haven't played finals footy. Because there's like a sprinkling of rookies throughout the side that haven't played much finals footy. And, it can just take 1 or 2 bad games from rookies to cost you a finals game. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm backing the Panthers to win, but that's probably the only question. People just assume because they're the Panthers that every single player has 4 final series worth of experience, when it's changed so much that that's actually not the case.
Yeah, and you're right. They'll go over their business as usual. They won't be flustered by anything, but, that's easy to say, but also there's inexperience on an entire edge. You got Blaze Talangi, you got Casey McLean, and then you've got Tom Jenkins, who I don't think any of these guys would have played finals footy, right?
No,
probably not.
Don't think, Casey McLean, maybe?
Yeah,
he might have played a couple of games last year. It's
he
like...
played. He went through.
Yeah.
Sorry? Casey McLean.
McLean went through.
Yep.
They've got a whole edge. He's still, 19 years old or something? A very experienced edge. So the Warriors are going to see opportunities there, and they said, maybe it's Penrith. They'll probably stand up to it and handle the occasion, but they're 2 of them are untested, so there's opportunity there for the Warriors.
Well, for example, if your game plan isn't run at Blaze Talangi a lot for the first 10 minutes just to see where his head's at, I mean, that's crazy.
And if he misses one early and lets it not even try through a line break through, who knows what it does to his headspace for the rest of the game.
Yep. Under
the cauldron with all those Kiwis down there yelling at you like it.
And he is a Kiwi too. So, I was thinking of Casey McLean. Apologies. Yep.
It's an intense place to have your first finals game for Blaze Talangi.
Yeah. Is Blaze Talangi Samoan? Is he a Kiwi as well, Samoan? Samoan. So, look, I do back the Panthers to get the job done. But if I'm from the Warriors' perspective, I'm just going, guys, we've got 80 minutes to do something. Don't worry about the rest of the finals. Who gives a shit about the rest of the final series? This game, we've got 80 minutes to do something special. Panthers, they just got to. I know it sounds silly to say, but just stay calm and go through the process. It's like that's really, and that's what they will do. That's what they're known for. Okay, now quickly onto the Sharks v Roosters. Funny, if you had asked me this 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would have said, mate, Roosters will blow them off the park. But mate, the Sharks, we'll get into in the review, but they looked good. I think Hynes will get downgraded. I think they'll be fine. I think this will be a cracking match.
It's going to be a ripper. And I don't have a clue it's going to happen, especially because as we record, we don't know about Nicho Hynes.
Yeah.
But
it's a coin flip for me, this game.
Yeah. I think the Roosters have the superstars and the strike power. 1-17, I think the Sharks are probably better balanced. I have no idea who's going to win this game of footy.
Mate, I'm with you. It's genuinely whoever turns up for the big game, really. It's going to be, it's a coin flip. What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, the Sharks, I initially thought the Roosters, just because their best footy is good enough to mix it with any team, I think. Can they? I don't know if they can win the whole combo. I don't think they'll have, as we discussed on the show last week, can they play like that 4 weeks in a row? I don't think so. Look, I'm still with them here, but the Sharks have won 7 of their last 8 games. Like, they're kind of flown under the radar a little bit, really. If Nicho gets off, it's at their home ground, which the Roosters don't want to be at. They reckon it should be at a bigger ground. 231, the Sharks. The Roosters are $1.60. I think the Roosters are going to be a little bit too good. I can see them winning probably two or three finals in this campaign.
Okay. Yeah. What do you reckon, Matty?
Yeah, if Nicho, assuming he plays, I reckon I'm with you. I think it's a coin flip, but I think it comes down to the Roosters because I think the Roosters can win. They don't have to put 80 minutes in. They could take a game away from you in 30 or 40 minutes. I don't think they've been consistent in games pretty much all year, the Roosters. Like even on the weekend, at half time, I thought Souths were actually in it. Second half, they just absolutely wiped the floor with us. That's just what the Roosters can do. So I think a lot of it is going to come down to how long can the Roosters put good footy together for? Because they could win by 20, but I can also see the Sharks winning. So it's a tough game to pick.
Okay, now for, in my opinion, the blockbuster of the weekend, and maybe I'm biased, but it's the Raiders versus the Broncos, 4 or 5 p.m. Sydney time on Sunday. I will say, and look, I understand Ricky's thought process, as much break as possible, I get it. But I've got to be honest, Sunday Arvo, I feel like if there's one slot you won't want the Broncos on, it's a dry track on a Sunday Arvo. I'm a little bit surprised that Ricky Stewart didn't say, let's get them down here on a Saturday night, freezing, fucking shit conditions, and just take them into the grind. What are your thoughts, Jimmy?
Agreed on the time slot. I'm like, I prefer to play in the dewy conditions on Saturday night in the cold. So Sunday is meant to be sunny and beautiful and dry, and that just horrifies me with Reece Walsh and what he's doing at the moment. Oh, what a great find. What a game of footy. Just such contrasting styles of footy. You've got this, let's call it the arrogance coming out of Red Hill of the Broncos. And I don't even think that's a bit loose to say because you see the way they play their footy. They play with arrogance. Yep. And when they score tries, when they get up and about, and when, they make, there was a few, the Reece Walsh tackle on the weekend and they're up and they're in, that's arrogance.
Yep.
And that is what the Brisbane Broncos do. And they have that. The Raiders are this, world's against us.
Old school kind of.
Old school. Who's going to come out on top? My heart also says the Raiders. My head says I think the Raiders, that old school tough mentality will be enough. But as you said, mate, a dry track and what Reece Walsh is doing at the moment. If Reece Walsh lights up, I don't think there's probably a team in the NRL that can stop him when he's on.
Yeah. Yeah, if they have a Paddy Carrigan, Payne Haas, Benny Hunt, Walsh light up, geez, they'll be tough to go with. I will say, though, that if the Broncos are on, if there's one team that has a forward pack to physically go with them, it's the Raiders. So, again, this for me, it's a coin flip. It's a 50-50. Obviously, the Raiders will be favourites, but it's a coin toss for me, and I think it's going to be an absolute... That first 20 minutes is going to be brutal.
Yeah, I reckon I'm with you. This is the game of the round for me as well. Josh Papali'i, whether he's in or out, makes probably a fairly significant difference in the price and the chances of the Raiders. I reckon they got the best pack in the comp, especially with him in it. They are $1.69 at home. The Broncos $2.18. They were about $2.30 yesterday, the Broncos, so they've come in a little bit. But I reckon this will be the closest match of the weekend. Two, similar but different styles, You've got the exciting, the flashy flair of the Broncos, and then obviously the Raiders just don't make mistakes. Just get up for the fight. It'll be a great game.
I don't feel personally that it's a coin toss.
Okay.
I feel like the Raiders at home, Brisbane travelling all the way down to Canberra, being sellout stadium. the Raiders haven't put a foot wrong this season. We've got a really good forward pack, touch wood, but we've had a good run of injuries. No, Brisbane probably not too bad either, but you then throw in the wild card that is Reece Walsh, who, all right, what if things don't go to plan and passes hit the deck or there's a few drop balls? The Broncos can absolutely win, and it's going to be a corker. I don't think it's a coin toss, though.
Raiders only lost one game at home this year, and that was that Bulldogs one.
I feel like coin toss is a bit harsh on the Raiders from what they've done this year.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe it's my bias coming in.
Stop being so biased, mate.
I think it's a coin toss because I think the Broncos at their best are better than the Raiders at their best. But the Raiders have played at an 8.5, 9 out of 10 for quite a while. But it's probably my bias. It's probably the fact that Broncos are my team, and maybe I want them to win. What do you reckon, Matty?
Yeah, I can't wait for this game. I reckon this will be one of the most watched finals games in a while, I reckon. I really hope this is the grand final because it's just, they're so different. It's such an interesting game. I'm tipping the Raiders, but I am putting no confidence in that at all. I reckon it's going to be an absolute thriller. Every rusted rugby league fan in Australia is going to be watching this game. It is just an absolute classic. And as I said on Friday, I know I wasn't watching rugby league in the 90s, but like the rugby league world got robbed in the 90s of no Raiders Broncos grand final. Man, I hope it happens this year.
It's an interesting point, Matty makes. I was just telling the boys in the green room when you were at the little boys' room earlier. Joel Kane been in some great form this year with some tips at big odds. He put on the feed in April grand final Quinella, so the two teams to meet the grand final, Raiders versus Broncos at $61.
What?
Ridiculous.
He's the GOAT, man. Like, seriously.
Got his eye in.
Well, I'll show you. I got a better tip, mate. I tipped Broncos top 4 about 4 or 5 weeks ago, mate. $6.
That's not better.
No. Okay, sorry.
Well, I mean, it's a winner. Well
That's
done.
not my thing.
Well done. But this, like, if he predicts this one as well, it's some sort of year for him. But I'm with Matty. I reckon it potentially could be a bit of a grand final preview.
I hope so. Could you imagine these two teams? I have to be honest. I know that these two teams aren't going to like hearing this. I think it would be good for the game if there was Storm wasn't in the grand final, Panthers in the grand final. It's just
add Roosters to that as well, mate.
Yeah, okay. Even you could go Roosters as well. Honestly, I go even further than that. Like if it's like Warriors Bulldogs, like I think that would be fucking hectic for the game.
Even look at week 1 of finals. How heavily supported are the underdogs in 3 of the 4 games going to be? Like Doggy Storm, except for obviously Storm fans and the odd person who hates the doggies. So like probably maybe Parramatta Eels sports or something. Everyone's going for the Dogs.
Yeah.
Warriors, Panthers.
Everyone's
going for the Warriors. Sharks, Roosters. I would say a very large amount are going for the Sharks.
Yep.
Raiders, Broncos.
50.
Everyone's going for the Raiders.
50-50. No, everyone's going for the Raiders. But yeah, so like, don't get me wrong, I love the yarns in the Storm and the Panthers. Obviously, 6 grand finals in a row is insane. But anyway, mate, can't wait. That's the NRL Finals, how it all lines up. All right, let's get into our round 27 review. Don't forget, guys, Aussie Footy Shorts, we have a collaboration, 9 different designs, limited edition. Once they're gone, they're gone. But if you don't want Bloke Footy Shorts with pockets, they have got thousands of other designs. If you want footy shorts, go to Aussie Footy website. Make sure to get them because they are absolutely outstanding. I always wear mine at home. So comfortable, and they have pockets. It's the best ever. Okay, and also, guys, BeGoodHealth.com. I got my Good Day right here, drinking it, the best multivitamin in the business. Go to BeGoodHealth.com.au, grab your Good Day, use code DMP for 10% off, pair it with subscription, you get 20% off. It's the best in the business. Okay, let's get into the review. The Broncos defeat the Storm 30-14. Listen, I understand the talking points around the Storm not really playing for anything, and I understand that, yes, they were missing some players. Obviously, the Broncos were as well. However, it wasn't necessarily the victory, although that was great from the Broncos. It was just the way they went about it that I thought was so good for the Brisbane Broncos. It was the grit, it was the toughness, it was the completing high, willing for 80 minutes to get down and dirty and get the job done, which is, even in their best year, 2023, like they won just because they were more talented than everyone else. Like they were just young footy players with no inhibition. They hadn't been scarred by losing anything. They were just like, we are more skillful, bigger, more powerful. Whereas what I liked about this win is they obviously had moments of that with your Walshes, your Hasses, but it was just a gritty, grindy, tough victory. Really proud of the boys. In regards to the Storm, getting concerned. I need to see them with Harry Grant in the side, but getting a little bit worried that when that physicality does start to kind of ramp up in the middle, that they struggle to go a little bit with teams. However, they did have a lot of errors, which was insane. Timmy, what are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, Broncos are outstanding. And, I just think we're starting, again, concerningly as a Raiders fan, but we're starting to see the Broncos of 2023 a little bit where it's like, all right, they're playing this flamboyant, expansive style of footy, as they always do, and chance their arm, but they're defending their errors, and they're defending their line, and they're becoming very hard to sort of penetrate there. In terms of the Storm, mate, the one that interests me is, and it's not hindsight, because I've been saying it for a couple of weeks, and I said on Biz and Breakends with Guru, but around these end-of-season restings, if you're in a position to do so, of course, and it doesn't always work out that way, I think you're resting round 26 to avoid what happened with Ryan Papenhuyzen, because head knocks are so frequent in the game these days, as are 1 week suspensions. And I know ideally you want to have a week leading into finals, to get moving and get in the flow. But the chances of a player go down with a head knock or a 1 week suspension, and Nicho Hynes is another example, are so likely. Melbourne, who rested players last week, they're now going into week 1 of finals without Ryan Papenhuyzen. Hughes. I reckon you rest round 27 if you're given that luxury, and I reckon you play in round 26 and use that as your final hit out leading into finals, because without Paps now, it's huge.
Yeah, it's a huge. And I know it's hindsight, because I personally would have played Hughes, but the more I've thought about it, and granted, he did get injured, so obviously I've got more information than what I would have had if he didn't play. But they also get 2 bites at the cherry. They made the top 4. I just wonder, was it worth playing Hughes when you've already made the top 4? You get 2 bites of the cherry, so he's going to have 2 games to get it right. And it's Hughes too. We're not talking about a rookie.
Yeah.
We're talking about a guy, he'll know how to click into gear pretty quickly. Yeah, I reckon bellyache. He hasn't out and out said it, but I reckon he probably looks at that and says, you know what, probably got that wrong. Maybe, I could be wrong.
I'd love to see this time next year, if in the same situation, which, let's face it, it's the Storm, probably will be.
Yeah.
I bet they rest in round 26.
Well, I feel like they've never done, round 27 you mean?
Round 27, sorry.
Yeah. See, I feel like they've always done that. It's 27 that they rest. And I feel like this was the first year where they kind of tried to stagger it to a degree.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Craig actually did say that if he had his time over, he probably wouldn't have played Hughes. I think he did say in the presser at the end. But Harry Grant last night was saying on the Matty John show that potentially it's not season over for Hughes. He can still, might only be a week or 2. He might be good to come back.
Okay.
So
that's huge.
Obviously not ideal, but they definitely weren't at their best. The Storm, a little bit concerning. That I think leading into this game, that 20 games, they had 20 instances where they'd lost the week before and they'd won the following week. They always bounce back, but they weren't able to do it for this game here. The other disappointing thing for them was probably Nas as well. Second year in a row, suspension, on the eve of finals. So costly, because he almost could have been the difference last year in that grand final. It was such a tight game, but
he actually played well against the Broncos. He was one of the forwards going forward. He just bloody...
That's right. So, I mean, Bellyache will be probably pissed off about that, you would have thought, because he's been in and out of the side a bit this year. But, disappointing. They can still win it, but they've got to turn it around quickly. Obviously, Harry Grant coming back this week will be big for them, but, they're definitely not humming at the moment.
And I understand that the Broncos had everything to play for. So I'm not saying that they had the same amount of motivation. However, the Storm they're trying to play for form. Although it's not life or death for them, whereas Broncos, it almost felt like life or death for them. You could see the way they were playing. It's not like they were playing for nothing. They were playing for, we got towed up last week against the Roosters at home. We need to have a good game because we're about to go into finals footy. So it's not like they were playing for nothing.
And the big fact sort of going into next week, as you allude to state the obvious, Harry Grant. And we've had discussions this year about, who's the most influential player in this spine.
Gone back and forth so many times.
But it was there was a spell there where Grant was maybe out and then came back in and we went, all right, Harry Grant's the one. They need Harry Grant. He's the most important player in this spine. He's played 16 games of footy this year for the Storm. He's lost 3 of them. The 3 that he's lost, it's never been by any more than 5 points max. Harry Grant coming in changes everything for them.
Yeah. I twisted and turned with that. So initially I thought it was Hughes that was the most important, probably at the start, close to the beginning of the year. And then it was towards maybe 3/4 of the way through where I was actually, no, I think it's Harry Grant. Yeah. I think it is really Harry Grant that he's the most important. He's their captain. It probably doesn't, for some reason, I don't know why, but he doesn't get thought about as a captain very often. He gets thought about as Harry Grant, at least in my mind. which is wrong. He's a captain. He's a captain for a reason. Okay, now in regards to performance, we'll talk about Storm and then we'll get to the Brisbane Broncos. But with the Storm, like the thing is they still played tough. Like that's the strange thing about this loss. Like they still hung in there. They still didn't just like completely capitulate. But the amount of errors, like I can't remember the Storm in a big game making 15 errors, I think it was. And that's where, although I've been the first, I felt that they had turned a corner back into the year with like 2 or 3 weeks to go, maybe a month to go. My big complaint mid-year was that all these errors they're making, even though they're getting wins and they're ticking them up, it's going to eventually come back to bite them. And I reckon it kind of did come back to bite them that mid-season. Well, not even the mid-season. For most of the year, they have been a lot of errors, willing to attack from everywhere. Then they got to about 3/4 of the way through the year. They tightened everything up a little bit. Their defence got better. But unfortunately, I just reckon that old habit from the start of the year kind of came back to bite them in this game.
Yeah, plenty of them. And, you know, as you said, you talk about these habits, you speak about it all the time, about the conversation with Smithy and how that'll impact things. And there are a few little red flags there with them. And, mate, I think another one, Cameron Munster, who excellent in attack as always. I think Munster defensively this year, and particularly over the last couple of months, I think he's been really off. Like
very rare for him to get beaten the way he got beaten by Walsh.
But it's been happening a lot over, like again, by Cameron Munster standards, who has always been one of the better, if not best, sort of defensive halves in the competition for his entire career. He's just not right now. He's missing a lot of uncharacteristic tackles, and not just falling off him and having 5 missed tackles in a game, but that'll lead into line breaks and tries. There was a few last week, not just like falling off tackles, but poor reads, and it's out of character, but it's a huge concern because their other edge of the Hughes and Katoa, it's actually their weaker one quite substantially, but Munster on the other edge as well, letting through a lot.
Yeah, and if you're already essentially going into games thinking our right side's going to leak probably 2 tries, I'll say 1. The last thing you need is the other side leaking a try as well, because it just changes the whole dynamic of the game. I thought the Storm's kick coverage was terrible. Like the amount of times they let it bounce, I was just like, there is no way in hell Bellyache ever has told a Storm player it's all good, let it bounce. Matter of fact, I reckon he said, I'd rather you knock it on than let it bounce. I thought their kick coverage was terrible.
And it was their starting back 3 as well. Like they've had a lot of chop and changing, especially with Will Warbrick out and Coates over Origin. This is their back 3 that, well, what they should be going to finals with. Obviously, Pappy's out, but yeah, so just a few cracks starting to appear at the worst possible time, because the Storm are normally humming coming into finals, right? Like Bellyache's the master of peaking and tapering and getting up at the right time of the season. And right now they're not looking great.
Well, their kick defusal was worse than the Broncos, and the Storm are known for their incredible kicking game, obviously with Coates coming through. What do you think about the Storm, mate? Yeah,
I just think, they haven't really gone bang for quite a while this season. They've just kind of, they were the favourites for quite a long period during the season. Now they're not. The Raiders are the new favourites for the comp, but I don't know. There's just a few things where you're spot on about like balls dropping at the back, and just some of the injuries are probably the main thing that concerns me now. Pappenhausen, we're going to miss a week as well. I don't know. There's just they're not as settled as they probably should be. They've kept finding a way to kind of win through the year, but they've probably dipped at the time of the year that you don't want to. You know, they really don't have any momentum going into the finals. So, that's a bit of a concern for them.
And the worrying thing is like, if you're a Storm fan or a Broncos fan, you probably think Broncos dominated possession. You probably think Broncos had quicker play of the balls, more meters, more everything. They didn't. The Broncos had less possession, so the Storm had more possession. They had more time in possession. They had more runs, more meters, less post-contact. They had more line breaks, same tackle breaks. They have an average distance of 5 meters more per set. And their average play the ball speed was 3.4 seconds. And this is what's crazy. So, and I know Storm fans aren't going to want to hear this, but like they lost 30-14, and they were lying in the ruck so badly. This is the slowest average play the ball I've ever seen recorded, and it was 4 seconds for the Broncos. So usually the refs try to average a 3.5 second play the ball. In Origin, it's around 3.1. That's how quick Origin is. I've never seen a team have an average play the ball speed of 4 seconds. 4 seconds, and they still lost 30-14. What do you reckon they're going to lose if they have a average play the ball speed of 3.5 seconds? Fucking by another 20 points.
When Reece Walsh was doing that, hell of a lot.
So that's the concern. They had more offloads, more receipts, more total passes, way more dummy passes. That's the concerning thing. They essentially missed the same amount of tackles, essentially had the same amount of ineffective tackles, but the real big one, it was 14 errors. And another one, this game was actually relatively slow because... So we spoke about the 4-second play the balls, which is honestly, I swear to God, I've never seen 4 seconds. Granted, I guarantee that there's been a slower play the ball, an average slower play the ball in the NRL. I'm not saying it's, but it's just what I've seen. But in this game, they gave away 17 penalties, and the Broncos gave away 15 penalties. So that's how much they were lying in the ruck to slow everything down, that they were willing to give away all those penalties. What are they going to be like when the ball's in play and the ruck's quick? That's the concern for me.
Fine. Huge concern. And, a big player around all this and, obviously the ball in hand, but you mentioned him before, big nasty. Nelson Soft-Solomona, it's week in, week out. And we sit here and wonder why Craig Bellamy has been reserve grade at times and struggling to even make the bench for the Storm with his ability. And then... a game, I'm not going to say it was a big game because it wasn't. They weren't playing for anything as such, but still, a Soft Solomona who's in there to prove, no, mate, I have to be in this team week in, week out, and give me bigger minutes, etc. And the shoulder to the head, I know he's a big boy, I get it, but he knows that. You've got to get lower. He gets a sin bin, pivotal moment in the game. You can't do that week one finals.
Mate.
And there's a reason that Bellamy isn't picking him.
Yeah, mate, I got to say, listen, I would cop the height thing if he head hides someone in, chest tackles, where it's with the shoulder, but it's essentially it's a chest tackle. You like that. Bent down like he was, with the arm tucked, not tucked like that, but it was still down and launching. Oh, mate, what are you thinking there? If you're going to launch like that, you better get low. You better get low. As I said, I'll cop the tall thing if he hits with his chest in someone's. I'll cop it every other week. That's the negative of being so big. But launching into a bloke's head like that, I just I don't have an issue with it from a perspective that's footy. I have an issue with it. I'm upset for Nelson because I'm if you make a grand final, if they win every game to the grand final, this will be the second grand final in a row that he's missed because of I think shoulder to a head. Yeah, it's bro, come on.
Yeah, it must be so frustrating for Bellyache. It's definitely going to be a couple of weeks, isn't it? So he'll do well to even if they go all the way and get into the grand final, he'll be doing well.
Do you pick him? If they make the grand final on 4 games and he's available, do you pick him?
I think it would depend who I was playing.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the packs and I'm going up against. If it was a Raiders, I'd go, all right, we need a bit of extra firepower in the middle to come up against that pack.
It's Bulldogs or something.
If it was a Bulldogs or something, I'd probably no, probably not. I'd back us to score elsewhere and not worried about that disciplinary issue. And I think Bellamy would be thinking similar.
Yeah. Listen, if they don't play 4 games and make the grand final, I personally think that this is the last game you'll see of Nelson at the Melbourne Storm. And I think it's actually going to be good for both parties. Yeah. It seems to me that the relationship just hasn't worked for whoever's fault. It could be the Storm's fault. Maybe it's the Storm's fault. I don't know whose fault it is. I reckon it's actually better for both parties. He takes up a big part of the salary cap. There are plenty of other clubs that'd be interested, I think. I think they should part ways at the end of this year.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It just has happened. What do you think about the Melbourne Storm, Matty?
Concerned. They have been patchy all year. They had a couple of good grindy wins a month ago, but even still, it's
they never hit heights where you were
I think about that 2021 Storm team gets forgotten about because they lost the prelim. But they set attacking records that year. They won 19 games in a row. It's night and day. These teams are not the same. They've been far too patchy, and because I default to it's the Melbourne Storm, I initially think, all right, they can win 3 games, 4 games, go to the grand final. But what evidence do I have for that this year? There's none. They've been patchy in games and they've been patchy week to week. So, I don't know.
Well, I think the last time, and I got this wrong on the show on Friday, I said never in the NRL era, but I think the last time a team lost 2 games to end the season, the last time that they lost 2 games and then went on to win a grand final was, when was it, Hammy?
Never.
No, 2005, the West Tigers.
Did we lose our last 2?
Yeah, apparently, at least to my understanding.
He just gave you the biggest layup of all time.
And then we had to play 4, and we won all of them.
Yeah, and you just went on and won the premiership.
Get around us. So it can still happen, Storm fans, but Gonna be pretty
There you
good.
go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the last time that
interesting.
you've lost. The team has lost both games leading into finals footy and then won the premiership. Pretty sure. Apologies if I got that wrong, but it's very rare that happens.
Well, it did happen in 05, so that part is right.
Okay, there you go. Nice. Outside of that, I'm trying to think of other performances. Okay, Fa'alongo and Pezzett have been brought out of their New South Wales Cup game. What are your decisions
Holy
there?
shit. Mobsy just texted me. Oh, I don't know if you can say this.
Well, you can cut it.
PVL has come over the top and downgraded Hynes' charge.
Well, we had to say that. That'll be out by now.
It'll be out by then.
PVL, you mad dog. What a guy.
No way.
You know what? This shows you how much of a hypocrite I am. So when they brought in the rule that the NRL could come in and have say over the match review committee, like I said, that's a overstep of power. You're basically saying that your own system you've set up isn't good enough. And this is the one area I'm like, you know what? Great idea. Well done, boys. Well done. Because they didn't used to have the power to do this. I still don't like it, but I like the fact that they've come out and did
That's
it.
hectic.
The BDE on this man is just
He gets it.
unparalleled. He's just like, you know what? Because he'd have all this advice, say, no, you can't come on and sort of undermine your own systems and rulings and all that sort of stuff and of your organisation that you lead. And he's like, no, Nicho needs to be playing that game. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
yes. I
Look,
love it.
The one thing I respect about PVL, if he's going to do something, he'll do it. Like, you know, he's not going to allow fear of like we'll go back to the Taylor May a few years ago. He'll do it. He will do it. That's great stuff to know, Hynes. It's like, I cannot believe that was great too. Like they're the easiest out ever. Give him a grade 1, which would be a fine.
Yeah.
He's got no prize. He's
Nicho
clean
fines.
Nicho Fines. That's one of your best there. Well done.
Grade 1.
Well done. That's good stuff.
Pretty straightforward.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Like, I was just sitting here watching, thinking, all right, the Roosters will win this by 2 points. Sharks without Nicho, and you go, what if?
Yeah.
And
I'd say that's brought to you by Code Sports.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Brought to you by Code
It's
Sports.
just gone live now
We've got
on
the
the website.
insight. We've got hookups.
We do.
We've got hookups. Actually, we don't want to say that too much because there's been an accusation of corruption with the podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Where is
apologies.
Guru? Have we heard from
I
Guru?
don't know, who could it have been?
Well, he's down at the NRL Finals launch, so maybe that's how he got there.
Maybe PVL will come over the top and excuse Guru.
Okay. Anything? Sorry. So Wishart, Pezzett, Fa'alongo, Meany. Me personally, I'd be going Fa'alongo, and I'd be going Wishart. Now I know Pezzett is a better 7 conservative. I just like Wishart's defence. I think it's really strong. I'd probably be carrying Pezzett on the bench. I'd be keeping Meany at centre. I think they need as much good defence as they can get. I know they still have their issues. What are you going to do with those key injuries?
Yeah.
Tough.
I'd be going Wishart.
Yep.
I think, I've said it before, but he replicates Jerome Hughes. He's the same player. He's not the same standard, but he's a ball running 5'8" who's got turned into this halfback role, and that is the Storm system. And they get a bit of momentum through the middle, and everything comes off Harry Grant. Harry Grant goes.
Devil's advocate. They beat the Penrith Panthers with Pezzett in the halves at 7.
Yeah, where was Wishy?
So it's Pezzett, Wishy, and then Grant, Pappy, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Munster was out as well.
I think Munster was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when it first sort of all happened around, it might have been the Hughes injury, and I was sort of sitting there thinking, just go a more customary number 7 to get around the park in Pezzett rather than Wishart. But I went, no, that's not the way the Storm play. And
No, you're right.
if Pezzett comes in as a 7, I think it changes the way they play their footy. Whereas Wishart coming in for Hughes, nothing really changes. As I said, he's not the same level as Hughes. We know that. But
You could argue he's a better defender.
yeah,
physically.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's how I'd run it. I think Bellamy will probably do that. Pezzett will probably come off the bench. I wouldn't play Pezzett off the bench because I don't think they need to do that. And then I think like when he came on from memory, Wishart might have even gone into 13 or bench, whatever it might have been. But I just don't think they need to. You have your 2 halves to play your 80 minutes. That being said, 2 of the games that Pezzett did come off the bench, he set up tries late and had a big impact on the result. So look, maybe there is the play there, but I'd be doing that. In terms of fullback, probably Fa'alongo. Has he played some cups back from injury?
I think so.
I wouldn't, like, if it was a wing sort of spot, I wouldn't pick him because I don't trust his defence.
Yeah.
But at fullback, yeah, I think I'd put him at fullback.
And the tough thing though is Meany's been great when he's got an opportunity at fullback. I think in a finals game though, Fa'alongo can just change a game, just boom like that. That's probably why I'd have Fa'alongo. And also, as I said, I think they probably need as many of their starters in the front line as possible because that defence is a bit shaky. What would you go?
Yeah, it's a good point you make there about this. You want to keep the front line in good order. The only concern I have about Fa'alongo is is there maybe a defensive weakness there or something that could get exposed by the
Does he
doggies?
talk as much as Meany at the back as well?
That's right. That's it's a big part of it as well as the highlight moments, just the organisation kind of component of it. He's only just coming back from an injury himself. I mean, if you move Meany back there, you can probably bring Seve back in, and he's been solid. He's done a pretty good job.
Yep.
Gun to head, I reckon he'll go Meany just because Bellamy's all about. I think he would have a lot of trust in Nick Meany at fullback, whereas Fa'alongo, finals footy, I don't think he would.
What about a couple of weeks ago where he moved Munster to fullback and then you could have Pezzett and Wishart in the halves? Or is that a little bit too much change as well, to your point about keeping the front line in?
I think changing
But
too
he did
much.
give it a go a few weeks ago, I reckon, just to see
And they
if
beat
something
Penrith.
happens, how would this work?
Oh, yes, that was Munster at fullback, not Pappy at fullback.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah. They beat Penrith, and he played really good at fullback, Munster.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that is a concern is not the attacking. It's not even. Look, listen. If you're losing games because you've got a small fullback that can't do a one-on-one tackle, yes, you have to blame the fullback. But at the same time, I feel like the other things Fa'alongo offers makes up for that. The one area, even Meany, you could argue, the one area though where Munster is going to be good, it's the talking behind the line. That is honestly, that separates good defensive teams from bad defensive teams. Is their ability to talk behind the line. So what are you doing? Just quickly before we move on, Matty, what are you doing?
I have a feeling he'll go Meany. I would go Fa'alongo though.
Okay.
But if I had to bet on it, I think he'll go Meany.
Okay. And in the halves, Pezzett or Wishart?
Probably Wishart. Yeah.
Wishart?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably Wishart.
Okay, now on to the Broncos. Incredible performance. I've got to say, they've got arguably just as tough decision to make, maybe even tougher. Reynolds looks like he might be back for this week. They have been, I think they're 4-0 with Hunt, Walters in the halves. And if we're being fair dinkum, at least this year, I feel like they probably have looked a bit better with Hunt, Walters in the halves. Obviously, Reynolds is a better half than Walters. Ben Hunt, I don't know if it's that clear of a. I don't think it's clear that Reynolds is better at 7 than Hunt. They're just different. They're very different. What do you do there? It's a tough question. And also the Shibasaki, do you bring him back in?
I'm bringing Shibasaki back in, yes. The halves and Reynolds, I honestly don't know. Right. I don't even have a lean. If I was on the Broncos staff, I would watch all the games of all the combinations with under a microscope and just see how they clicked. Result aside, how'd they click? How'd the attack look? What impact did it have on Reece Walsh, who we know has been outstanding the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks? Reynolds has to be in there somewhere, whether he's coming back at 9 or whether you go Hunt, Reynolds, halves.
Do you think with a halves combination of Reynolds, Hunt, that Walsh's gets lost in the noise of that, whereas a halves combination of Hunt, Walters, Walsh,
it works. Yeah.
It's very clear who the main guy is. It's not a question, and Hunt, whereas you lose with Reynolds, Hunt, Walsh, you lose at least one of those players' good ability.
But do you go Reynolds back in at 7, Hunt to 9?
I would go, and then Walters at 6. No, I think Walters would go to 9. I'd go Walters to 9.
And use the big boys in the halves.
I would personally, if I gun to head, I've got to make the call. Reynolds would be on the bench. I'd start with Hunt, Walters, Corey Pakes, I think, starting at 9.
Yeah.
Then depending on how the game was going, I'd move Walters into 9, Pakes comes off, Reynolds goes into 7, Hunt goes to 6.
Big spine changes mid-game. I don't...
But you carry that anyway.
Yeah.
You usually, even at their strongest, you've got Corey Pakes and Walters on the field, in the 17.
It's normally just a straight swap at the 9,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's different. You're not moving your halves. Look, what I will say is Brisbane are going, no, I shouldn't say all out attack, but if they win this comp, you go, they're just going to blow teams off the park.
Yep.
You put Hunt and Reynolds in the halves, but you have very strict roles. And I probably just go, and everything you do is build around getting Reece Walsh into space. I have a reasonable amount of confidence that Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds, with their experience, can do that. If they go, boys, this isn't about you. This is about the bloke at the back who can win us a grand final. It is so hard.
Mate, I don't know what and Walters, he plays that role perfectly.
Walter, amongst all these superstars, we've thrown out it all year, Kempy, having a foil to your star halfback, whatever it might be, whether that's Jerome Luai and what he did with Nathan Cleary.
Yeah.
And there are countless examples of it in the NRL. Having this foiler from 5'8" who takes a back seat and just does their role.
And also, he's probably the best defender out of all three. Not probably, he is the best defender out of Hunt, Reynolds.
What do you think they'll do?
I think they'll go Reynolds at 14.
Yeah.
Just because like the question I have with this, with Reynolds and Hunt together, now maybe it's a symptom of the fact that they haven't had time to build up that combination. But I just don't think anyone in the spine has played as well as they've played in the current setup. You know what I mean? Like I even Walsh, Walsh has not had a game as good as the last month when Reynolds and Ben Hunt were in the halves.
Agreed.
And so that's what makes it really difficult. And I think you can carry Reynolds on the bench and move and see how the game's going and move Walters into 9. And then you've got, let's say, he comes on and you do win the game. You go, okay, yep, it's fine. It's not the fact that Hunt and Reynolds can't click. It's just the fact they haven't had that long together. What do you reckon, Hammy?
What would I do?
Yeah.
I would leave the combination that they have right now because this is the combination that's essentially got them into the top 4. They've won their last 4 games since Reynolds went down. It's probably solved potentially a few problems for them. I know that you can have those two in the halves together. It hasn't really clicked or worked very well. Just it's pretty well balanced at the moment. I think you've probably got to have Reynolds. You carry him on the bench. Might be an instance where he may not even get out there, but at least you've got a bit of cover there if someone goes down or whatever. But Hunt and Walters have combined really well in the last little while, and they have unlocked Walsh. He's played his best month of footy of the year since those two have been there. So if you want to win a comp, you need Reece Walsh Humming. The best way to do that, I reckon, is the combo that they've rolled out for the last month.
And we have to, and look, Reynolds is a champion. He's been there so many times.
Yeah.
We do have to keep in consideration he hasn't played footy for 5 weeks, 4 weeks.
Correct.
So there's that as well.
Put it this way, unless he's 100%, you just leave as is. You don't rush him back for week 1 finals. Like, they've got the second chance, so they can always bring him back the following week. But what you can afford because you're the Broncos and you have that many spine players, and they said you'd have a Walters or whoever off the bench anyway. But still, you don't want him to come back, twinging the hammy, more changes in game, costing yourself a bench spot. Make sure he's 100%.
What are you doing, Matty? And you are, love Renault. I mean, we all love Renault, but I mean, he's a special place in your heart.
I love Reynolds, and this is tough to listen to be honest. It really is. It really is. And I probably aren't changing my mind. It's Adam Reynolds. He's straight in my team.
Okay, straight in at 7?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I understand all your reasons though. That's what makes this so hard.
Yeah.
Seriously, like it's Adam Reynolds. He's been there so many times.
Well, there is the possibility of this. He comes in at 7 and they click. And that they're unstoppable.
Yes.
Like a team, this current team, take away whether they have clicked in the last year or whatever. Take all that away, and just imagine this current team with the best kicking game in the comp. What does that mean? That means they're fucking unstoppable. So there is that possibility that we didn't really discuss here. But there is a chance that you take this current roster that's playing like this and give them the best kicking game in the competition with Reynolds, or at least one of. Like they go to a whole new level.
Yeah. It's a different beast. So finals footy, I'm putting Reynolds straight in there.
And I would say as well, something else as well to consider, Walters has been phenomenal at 9, like unbelievably good at 9. I still would the reason I like Renault off the bench is you get the best of both worlds. Like you get to see, he doesn't have to play 80 minutes. You get the sting out of the game. You bring him on when you choose to. And if he comes on and it all clicks, then boom, next week you're sorted. Whereas, if he comes on, let's say he starts at 7 and they play okay but lose, you're not going to drop Renault then. You take that option away from yourself if you start him at 7 as well. But it's a tough one. Shibasaki, I've been quite surprised. Listen, from a perspective of, we want to punish him because he did something wrong, then maybe there's that argument in why you wouldn't bring him back in. But I've been surprised at the amount of people who said, no, I wouldn't bring Shibasaki in. I'd keep a winning formula. I'm like, bro, Shibasaki's been outstanding all year long. He just missed one game.
One game.
Yeah, what?
The dude just played in a winning Origin series against the odds. Mate,
I've been shocked at that stuff. I couldn't believe what I was just like... I
love any club should do it, but it doesn't always pan out this way. I love the statement of, he sits out for a week and he gets punished for it, because not doing that, when you come into finals at such a pivotal time, he sent a message there that has to be done.
Yeah.
But he comes back in.
Yeah.
The Broncos are 10-2, and Shibasaki's been a part of most of that.
Yeah.
You're not changing a winning formula.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
one game.
Yeah, mate, I can't. It's just been so surprising. Now, just quickly before we move on, Mikey Maguire, like he's gotten this roster, and I know on paper they definitely should be top 4. Like, so that's not a shock. But when you consider new coach, there was all these questions around whether this roster was going to be too mentally soft to handle him, whether he was going to be too old school for the... Like, there was a lot of questions. Even middle of the year, there was pressure on Michael Maguire. I think he deserves a massive rap for what he's managed to do with this side. I think that, like the standard's been set, obviously it's top 4 every year, at least with this roster. But his ability to get them up for big games, like you go back to his ability with that New South Wales side to get them up for a big game. You go back to his New Zealand coaching where he got them up for that big game record win. Like, then he gets to this Storm game for to get him into top 4. I don't reckon there would have been many, at least non-Broncos fans, most of them, I reckon at least 90% of them would have said, no, Storm will beat them. Like, it might be a close game, but Storm will beat them. Go out and put a performance like that, I think Michael Maguire deserves a massive rap.
Yeah, the Broncos been coaching and in-house and all sorts of stuff have had issues for so long, and he's come in and they're now a top 4 team and they're storming home to potentially win a title. Madge Maguire, the Bunnies premiership, sounds so stupid now, but taking the Tigers to 9th, that all of a sudden looks good. Like, really? That, what he did with record final win over the Kangaroos for New Zealand, the one-off Blue Series win when we couldn't beat the Maroons. Like, if he turns this into a premiership, it's like the best resume in the NRL over the past 6 to 7 years.
I will say, here's a question for you. Take away like season, and you're about to give the Dally M coach of the year at the end of the season when the grand final happens. Broncos go, like, Raiders go loss. Broncos go on to win the comp. Would Michael Maguire be your Dally M coach of the year?
No.
Still Ricky?
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, easy to say, it's Raiders bias. We're meant to come last.
It's not. I would still go Ricky, but I just want to ask a question.
It's Ricky.
Yeah, I'm with you. That same reason. They're the favourite for the spoon, and they got the minor premiership.
Okay, what do you reckon, Matty?
Ricky Stewart all day, no doubt.
Okay, let us know in the comments section. Is there anyone that thinks if Raiders go loss, and this is not how the Dally M coach works, it's from the season, and then the Broncos go all the way to a grand final and win their first premiership in 19 years?
Since 2006.
Since 2006, would you have Michael Maguire as a Dally M coach of the year? I mean, although I would go Ricky, and maybe this is my bias coming in, I don't think it's that far of a stretch to go Michael Maguire if he wins in a premiership. Because it's been 19 years. Like think of we've had Wayne Bennett. Think of the rosters we've had, and he somehow manages to win a premiership. If it happens, obviously we're fucking ages away from it. Outside of that, the obvious, like Karapani, he's formed coming back in. The side's been phenomenal. I thought Dean Mariner was great. I thought Jesse Arthur to be honest, I think most people were outstanding for the Broncos. Okay, we'll get to the Seagulls versus Warriors.
Just quickly, I think we need to talk about this Hynes thing because it's quite concerning, and I think it can open a bit of a can of worms. The reason they've downgraded him, so they've admitted in this statement that they've gave him the grade 2 charge based off the Bulldogs injury report, and now because the injury report has come out further saying that he's not actually that injured, that's why they've changed it.
We already said it. We said it. We
literally said it.
Yeah,
bro.
That could open up a dangerous can of. You could just fake.
So Nicho Hynes was very close to missing a finals game because of an injury report. That's actually fucking insane, bro. Like, okay, so let's say I hip drop someone, but it's like so innocuous, but they do their ACL. Do I miss the year?
Yeah, put it this way. Yeah, let's say a player does. Let's say Nicho's was a textbook hip drop that is extremely dangerous and reckless, and it just falls in an okay position and the player gets away unscathed. All right, Nicho gets a week or two or a fine or whatever it might be. Nicho, in the situation that did happen, let's say Montoya was gone for the season because it did play out the way it did and it looked like he was gone for the entirety of the finals and they were going to ban him and potentially be longer. Why? I just don't think injury should come into it.
Look, I understand it's human nature for it to come into it a little bit. Like, we're not going to get away from that. It's just human nature. But what if, and we've seen it so many times, so I'm not talking shit here. What if the injury report says 3 weeks, but he gets back in 7 days? So You don't know he's playing until the day before the game next week. But Hynes is already suspended for 3 weeks and misses the whole final series. But then what happens if Montoya plays the next week because he has a quick recovery? Like, it's not as bad as they initially thought. That literally could have happened right now. Like, if they didn't release now that Montoya might be good to go, he could have literally missed the final series.
Someone stiff arms bloke, gets him across the chin, and whoever they hit, got a head made of concrete, and they don't get injured, and like, all right, it's bad, and they get 2 weeks or something. But one that is not as reckless, not as sort of stiff arm, and gets the bloke on the chin. It's not good, but he's got the jaw breaks, and he's 8 weeks or whatever. Go, all right, does it change because of injury? Like, no.
You know what?
Shouldn't.
Here's a perfect example. Kiraz was supposed to be out for the whole year. He's probably going to play. Oh, well, there's a good chance he's going to play this week. It happens all the time. Yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe they released that reason. I cannot believe they allowed that reason to get out.
The black and white words. The match review committee has received a further report which materially alters the nature and extent of the injury suffered by the player.
So the match review committee downgraded him, not PVL.
Yeah. Well, that's what this statement says, yeah.
Bruh. That's a dangerous game to be playing. Holy shit. Okay. Now, this is really bad ethics. Fringe first grader gets a syndesmosis. Nathan Cleary landed on his ankle. You're out for 4 weeks because I don't need you. You're a fringy. I'd rather play Nathan Cleary-less Panthers and have you pretend to be injured for 4 weeks. And if you don't think teams they're too ethically solid to not do that, what have we been looking over the last, just this year alone? Like, teams will bend the rules whenever they want. And you'd almost be crazy not to tell a player that you're injured for the next 4 weeks. Because I'm telling you right now, you could find an injury on every NRL player if you took them to scans today. Like, an injury that you could say, this puts them out for the rest of the year. Most players are getting needled to play whatever. So the idea that they couldn't fake it is insane. You could easily find injuries.
Even just like, the more we sort of soak this in, as a rugby league fan, I love that Nicho's available to play and he'll be there and for finals. Like, I'm a big advocate of it just being different for finals and finding another way to punishment. But even just like the coming over the top of it, just because you can and finding a reason to, again, it sets a very dangerous precedent, like, moving forward.
I cannot believe they released that. I cannot believe they released that information. Like, you're much better off, even though I don't agree with it as a base, you're much better off just going PVL just came over the top of us and said no. You bet, because like this is open a can of worms now, because next time a club's going to say, hang on a sec, that bloke's not even that injured or whatever. So anyway, that's crazy. That's crazy. Rugby league, it never stops giving. Never stops giving. Okay, Sea Eagles versus Warriors. We're going to spend more time on the Warriors. We've spent a little bit of time on the Warriors, guys. Go back to the finals preview. Sea Eagles get the win. Look, I thought it was great, the fact that DCE got to have that that moment where he gets a drop goal. But this was an absolute poo slinger of a game. Poo slinger of a game. It was so bad, bro. Holy.
What about the world record off the top?
Oh, yeah, well, you got that. Listen, that, you know what? That encapsulates the game. Blokes putting out legs and, anyway. Look, poo slinger of a game. Happy for DC that it ended up being his 1 point that scored. I will say, we spoke about Warriors fans whinging or whatever. There was actually a call on this one, I think, by a video ref where they had every right to whinge. Was actually fucking terrible. But, congratulations, DCE. Good that he was the golden point that won it.
Often non-preferred as well.
Oh, yeah, it's DCE. He's the best in the business. I think also he kicked the 40-20. It's like his 41st 40-20 or some shit like that. It's crazy. But poo slinger of a game, there's no denying it.
Can't stress that enough, people.
Cannot stress how much this was a poo slinger.
Yeah, it was. Awesome for DC to get a great send-off from Brookie, and he was responsible for the blip at the start for James Fisher-Harris, the quickest rugby league try in the history of the game, which is unreal to be a front rower. And then it was honestly like a set or two later. DC nails the 40-20, they score. It was like, started great. It's downhill from there. And the Warriors.
Just before we go on, 30 errors.
Yeah.
All up, 30 errors.
Slinger.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they're limping into finals, the Warriors. Yeah. I want to see them give their best next week. Oh, they'll give their best, whether or not it turns out that way against Penrith. But, they've been ordinary.
Yeah, kick defensal's been really poor as well. It's hard to get too excited about Warriors. I get this out of the way. I think the Warriors have been so brave this year. The fact that they even somehow clung on to finals footy the way they've done, and they're going to be playing finals footy, honestly, maybe it's not any Warriors side ever, but I reckon 90% of Warriors sides that have, since coming into the comp, if they had the same amount of injuries this Warriors side had, they're probably about 13th or 14th right now. And I think the Warriors, that shows you how far the Warriors have come as a club, that they can be decimated by injuries and still hang in there somehow, some way and get a finals game.
It's been a great year. It's just, and again, we'll see if they can turn the tide this weekend, but it's looking like it's probably going to end prematurely. And they gave us a moment there. Again, they've had so many injuries, like the Barnett, Metcalf, some big ones. We dared to dream for a little bit there when they were sitting comfortably in the top four, and you went, should be getting 2 cracks at the cherry come finals time. And the way it's sort of petered out now, I'd love to say I feel sorry for them that after the season they've got Penrith week 1 of finals, but they had opportunities with a soft draw home to finish top 4 and get 2 bites. And
that Dolphins loss is stinging.
You look back on the year, again, they can still win this week. They absolutely can. But if they do get knocked out this week, it'll still be a good year, but bit of a what could have been. And that might be a prelim final or whatever it might be, but they've finished poorly.
What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I mean, pretty ordinary game. They've sort of limped to the finish. The Warriors, an opportunity here for them to win and put a bit of pressure on to build a bit of momentum heading into the finals. But not a great game. Credit to Daly Cherry. It was nice to see him get a nice moment there to leave on a bit of a positive note in what's been a pretty tough year over at Manly. But look, I can't see the Warriors. I know it's at home, but can't see them firing too many shots against the Panthers.
Okay, so we'll get into individual performances, but who do they have to come back? So Rocco Berra gone, injured, shoulder? Yeah, shoulder. I think it was shoulder. He got kind of like knocked out / shoulder.
Cannot take a trick, Rocco.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. Chance looks good to go. So this will probably be their lineup. Chance, Wateni Zelezniak, Pompey. Who's the young centre that they've had?
Ali Leatawa.
Is he injured?
Let me check.
He must be, because otherwise he probably...
he has been. Yeah. And I think he may have had a setback quite recently.
Yeah. And they've got that other guy that debuted recently. Look, in the outside backs, I think they'll be fine because they've been the best New South Wales Cup side, so they'd be an outside back that can fill that role.
Sometimes they can, flick
Kurt Capewell
out there too.
Yep. They've got so Leatawa didn't play the final round of Cup, but as it stands, they've got Graham Taufa, Ed Cossey, so they've got a couple of options, but if Leatawa could come back...
Be good. Now, halves will probably be Harris Tavita and Tanner Boyd. I've been a big believer that, Tanner Boyd just needs a chance. And he did have 2 try-sips on the weekend. I just wonder if you're going, it's one game, 80 minutes, we're trying to ambush someone. Do you put Tomato Martin in there, just go, listen, we need some magic?
Potentially. And I don't know what it'll look like, sort of early next year, especially depending on Metcalf comes back. But I don't know. I feel like they just go, we've got the forward pack to ruffle up Penrith. If they can, win that battle through the middle, and we then lean into Tanner Boyd's big boot and we kick early and we complete high, I'd keep Tanner Boyd.
Yeah. Because I would probably go Tanner Boyd just with the kicking game. The only worry I have with that decision is you're going to try and outgrind Penrith, and I don't think they've got that in them. Whereas Tomato Martin...
He has brilliance.
in him.
Yeah.
Again, as I said, I probably would go Tanner, but I just worry, are we just going to be a worse version of the Penrith Panthers?
It's almost like put Tomorrow in and go all or nothing.
Yeah, it's what I mean. It's just a gamble. Listen, we could lose by 30 points or more, but we're just going to be gunslingers here. What do you reckon?
I can get Jet Cleary in there and just try and out-Cleary the Panthers. Nice low-stakes game.
Get Jet Cleary in there, keep Tanner Boyd on the bench, but then hook him after 5 minutes so Nathan Cleary's upset his little brother got hooked for no reason. Rattled, Tomato Martin comes on. There you go.
Now we're talking.
There you go. And then, I don't know, egg Ivan Cleary's coaching box. Pay that dude that skulls stuff all the time to a chuck an egg in there. So just insult the Clearys as much. Just rattle the Clearys as much as possible.
That's the sort of outside-the-box thinking I think is required for the Warriors to get the job done this week.
Oh, I like that. I'm just trying to think, maybe delay their flights, get them stuck at customs for a while.
Close their change rooms with water.
Yeah, spray their change. Get Matty Johns down there and Joey to spray their change room with water. It's cold over in New Zealand too.
Put the AC/DC theme song on as the Warriors run out.
Yeah, like that.
Just anything little, just to get in their head.
Just get in their head. Anything else? I'm just trying to think.
1%ers.
Maybe a little wedgie at the start of the game for Cleary, just to rattle. What the hell am I in school again?
From the fish.
From the fish, a wedgie. Wedgie from the fish, because that's like a wedgie from a normal person. It's like, oh, it's fun in games. Like, oh, it's got a wedgie, have fun. A wedgie from the fish, you might be about to get bashed.
Well, wedgie from the fish. Aaron Clark over the top with a noogie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then Jazz Tavanga's in the cloud just doing funny shit. I know he's not at the Warriors anymore, but
he's still there.
He's just there doing funny shit. You know what? He's really good at leaving comments on Twitter. He like starts trolled Cleary through the week. That's how you win, Warriors. They should
do the Harker as well.
Oh, that for the finals game, get them rattled.
Game plan written.
Oh, I like that. There you go. That's still the pathway to beat.
That's the blueprint.
Okay, now in regards to actual performances on the weekend, I think Sam Healy was outstanding.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. How long is Wade Egan out for?
I think he's back this week.
He should be back this week.
Well, I mean, future's bright with Sam Healy. I know Shook's been pretty keen on him through the years. I think he's had a very good New South Wales Cup season as well. But it was a seamless transition. He was just about hooker of the week.
Mate, so good. And like, once they get going next year with a 1-2 punch of Healy Egan, like that's going to be a good punch.
Yeah, and just the coverage for poor Wade Egan, who just cannot string games together. Always cops an injury or a head knock, and to have Healy coming in, he had a try saver on Tommy Turbo where Tommy looked $1 to score, scored a nice solo try of his own late in the game. He's been awesome this season. He brings it quite, like, I wouldn't say he's like different from every other nine, but he does have quite a unique style of play, Healy. Like, it's not like he's just an out and out ball runner. Like, he's got enough finesse to be ball playing. However, his ball running and his ability to choose his moments he had 7 tackle breaks on the weekend. Yeah.
So, yeah, really interested to see how he goes. Another guy, mate, Aaron Clark. If you had said at the start of this year, he will shit it in for Dally M Lock of the Year, like, people would have said, mate, he will be lucky to make that squad. Out of all the positions in the Dally M team, I'll make the argument that Aaron Clark is probably the most certain to win Lock of the Year, their position of the year.
I don't think he's played a 9 out of 10 game all year, but he also hasn't played lower than an 8. It's just the same every week.
So good.
And one of the big holes that the Warriors needed to fill was the impact of Tohu Harris as a ball-playing lock. And one of the best I've seen, one of the most underrated ball-playing forwards that our game's seen. And I'm not saying Aaron Clark's as good a ball player as Tohu was, because he's not, but he has fit into that role seamlessly. It wouldn't have cost him a lot of money either. And as I said, he's going to be Lock of the Year. How good's he been?
He's been so... I mean, he couldn't even get his freaking... He was lucky to get on the bench at the Titans. Yeah. He's been that good since going to the Warriors, which shows you how good the system is at the moment, the Warriors. RTS got through a bunch of work again. Jeez, talk about tireless. I'd love to know what winger has the most average metres per game in their career.
Have to be Bizza, wouldn't it?
Sorry?
Bizza?
It'd be Bizza.
He'd be one.
But then, like, RTS, where would he land, do you reckon, you know?
Oh, yeah, right up there.
He'd be frigging right up there.
RTS would be, I reckon he'd be more than Bizza this year.
Yeah, he'd be more than Bizza, because especially the last month or so, he's been like nearly 300 metres a game, 280 or something.
He's 219 metres per game.
This year?
This year.
Wow, right. What's Bizza at this year, if you get a sec to check
He hasn't been sub 236 in the last month. He had that 158 metre game against the Doggies. Outside of that, he's gone over 245 metres at almost every game, dating back to round 19. The numbers are unbelievable.
He was one player, when we're talking about Dally M Wingers of the Year, I might have forgotten to mention him, but I mean, he's got to be a shout for it.
Toto's 192.
Wow.
I'm going to say RTS is 218 or something.
I wonder if this is the first year since Toto started playing a full year where he didn't average the most metres of a winger in the NRL. Probably is. It's crazy how this has been a quiet year for Toto and he's still averaging 190 metres.
And it was still the Brad Fittler medalist.
Yeah. Shows you how good he is. Outside of that, it's just a matter of, you've got one opportunity here to really ambush the Penrith Panthers.
Dallin on the other wing, outstanding in attack defensively. He's been all over the shop.
Yeah, he's always had an issue. Not always, but at least this year he's been...
particularly this year, just like shooting off at poor times, misreads, like getting caught out. I think there was a long ball from Tommy Turbo and just cannot afford that
just
this week.
It's the right side, It's the right side. Yeah. What I don't get with that Warriors right side is, and I say this respectfully, but it's so bad that, like, I don't understand why don't they just go, you know what? We just always up and slide no matter what.
Simplify it. Just
super simplify it. Because, like, the first try that Manly scored, like, I think Berry was, like, in on the... It almost looked like he was in on the wide running forward.
Yeah.
And, like, Watene Zelezniak just doesn't seem to be able to make that call at this current stage in his career.
Yeah, and, like, there's the thing. started the year with Rocco Berry. Actually missed the first part of the year, but I think Rocco Berry and Ali Leitao are just an outstanding centre combination. And it showed it at times. They were winning a lot of games, but didn't play to round 6, Rocco. Of his 8 or 9 games that he's played, 4 of them he hasn't finished the game.
Wow.
And then Leitao, Ditto, who hasn't played in ages. If they could have kept those two together, it changes everything because defensively on the edges, they just haven't been there.
Yeah.
Wow, in 2023, Greg Marzu averaged 10 centimetres more than Brian Toto.
Oh, wow.
10
And like that's the best year of his career compared to like just 1 year for Toto. But 10 centimetres more?
Yeah, 200.7 against 200.6.
Oh, man, someone's been stitched up by the measuring guy that's gone, you know what, I'm not giving another one to Toto. Far out. But yeah, that edge defence just needs to sort it. So I hope they can ambush them. Okay, on to the next game. Roosters v. the Rabbitohs. We'll just focus on the Roosters. Look, was it lights out, incredible game from the Roosters? Not necessarily, but was it a good, solid victory heading into finals footy? Yes, it was. If I'm being honest, sorry, Matty, but the Rabbitohs were just hanging for dear life from minute one, in my opinion. The Roosters had this game pretty controlled for most of it. Obviously, it was the second half where they put on a lot of the points. The Rabbitohs were super brave. I'm not going to say they aren't, but I just think, there was not really many points in that game in the first 15 minutes where I was like, ooh, the Rabbitohs might win this. I felt like the Roosters were always in control.
Dominant from the Roosters. Yeah, really good win. They shook off that week prior where they were, 2 weeks prior, was it? They had the game against Melbourne, they're outstanding. The week before that against Eels.
Terrible.
Awful. So 2 weeks on the trot of really good performances. They're coming into the finals red hot and they're just the dark horse. They're like, on their day they can beat anyone. And if they can click and go on a run, who knows for them, because they've also, like Nwanga Nitawazi's been outstanding, as we know, on the right edge, top try scorer for the season. And 23. They've just, early on when Sammy Walker came back, it was just all left edge, and they were catching the cold out on the right. They fixed that over the last month or so, or last couple of weeks certainly, and they've started to click on both edges, and they're getting good quality ball out to the strike weapons on the right, and it's scary.
Yeah. It's who would you rather play? Roosters at their best or Panthers right now as where they're at in their finals, one-off finals game?
Roosters at their best.
Yeah. I just don't want to play Panthers.
In the entire top halves, I just don't want to play Penrith.
Mate, it's like we're all scarred as fans. Like, just like, nah, don't want to do it. Don't want to do it.
Yeah, probably the Panthers. I think the Roosters, and we've spoken about it, but I think you had the same point a few weeks ago. They got some outstanding games in them where they could push anybody. Have they got 4 of those in a row in them for the finals? I don't think so. But Penrith are going to give you 8.5 at least out of 10.
Well, Penrith will never beat themselves, whereas Roosters can beat themselves.
Correct.
How do you feel the Roosters were on the weekend, mate?
Thought they were, did what they had to do. Probably weren't at their absolute best, but still, exciting enough. I think I can't get over how good, and I know you guys spoke about him a lot last week, but Mark Nwanga Nitawazi, 7 tries in the last 2 weeks of the season. He's got to be a walk-up start to the Kangaroo side, but anytime the ball goes anywhere near him, he's an absolute handful. Obviously, on that side, Multai's on the other side, isn't he? So he will be opposites. Katoa. That'll be he'll have his hands full.
Katoa can, in big games under the high ball, he has been a bit scratchy at times.
Yep.
Even though Katoa himself has got incredible footwork, great out of his own end.
No, he will be. No. He's right, isn't he? Nwanga Nitawazi?
He'll be Mulatalo.
He'll be
So he'll be Mulatalo.
Yeah, he'll be Mulatalo. Yeah,
that'll be a hell of a battle.
Yeah. Bloody oath. I will say, obviously, Jackie Whiten's a little bit older now, so nothing really happened. But the way he handled Jackie Whiten the ball, I was like, you're lucky you didn't do that 4 or 5 years ago, because I reckon Jackie Whiten is he's going after it. Well, you see how he handed in the ball after that try?
Yeah.
A young Jackie Whiten probably wouldn't have
responded so calmly.
So intrigued by Jackie Whiten, and I've sat there like you told Crib when he was playing 5'8", winning a Dalian medal. I'm like, is it his best position? Maybe not. Would love to see him at centre. I think he's just one of them guys where you just need to get his hands on the ball and running it, because I know the Bunnies have had so many injuries this year, so it's not going to make excuses, but I know he's getting older, but he's still fit as a fiddle and he's strong, he's still got speed. I know you have way too many options, Matty, but I just think he's a 5'8". Look, he probably doesn't fit into that slot at the Bunnies because you sort of have him and Campbell Graham at centre and you have a few different halves options, and then there's the Jai Gray conundrum as well, but I think Jack White's a 5'8", and I haven't said that in a while because I wasn't sure. I just feel like he's wasted at centre.
I to complement that, I don't mind Cody Walker playing off the bench next year. Like, if you have Whiten at 6, Latrell at centre, Jai Gray at 1, and then you sorted out how Latrell gets the ball in good ball, Jai Gray does all the work out the back, which best of kind of both worlds for everyone. And then Cody Walker has finished like 2 games this year. So like he's 35 or something next year. I reckon him coming off the bench playing 40, 50 minutes a game, and then however he comes on the field, I'm not sure. I reckon that's how you do it. And keep White, as you said, put White at 6, Latrell at centre, Jai Gray at 1. I just think
And
that's
what,
the
Humphries
best.
at 7?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be tempted by Jack and Cody?
I'd be tempted, yeah. But
If Cody could stay fit, you'd
Yeah.
probably go Jack and Cody. hey?
again, no evidence of that this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
It's soft tissue injuries all year. So
I think Jackie Whiten, he's the kind of player. Look, he's not going to be like a Nathan Cleary and like take you to a premiership individually. I know he didn't do it individually, but you know what I'm saying. However, he's the kind of guy that if you put him in one of the better teams in the competition, he can win a Dally M position award. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know it probably looms as a bit of an anomaly of a year, but he almost did take the Raiders to a premiership.
Yeah,
like,
that's
as
true.
a 5'8", where he won a Churchill.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you're
and
right.
that's the thing. You sit there and go, is he the best player in the NRL? Look, no, he's not, but he's a bloody good footballer. He's a competitor, win at all costs, got mongrel about him. And it's just put the ball in his hands. And you put him with the right 7 who can get a team around the park, because that is not his job in the halves. He's a ball-running 5'8", much like Ethan Strange, the bloke who's taken over him at the Raiders. And, yeah, I just think just needs more touches.
The reason I say that is like he's the kind of player that can get lost in the noise at a lower tier club as a battler, where everyone goes, yeah, he's pretty good. But some of those battlers don't have the quality in them in a good side to become a Dally M level player. Whereas Jackie Whiten is that kind of player that you plug him into a top tier side, he goes to that level and can be one of the best positions. And that's where at the moment at the Rabbitohs, it's been an okay, he hasn't been bad at all. Because you've had so many injuries, they haven't been able to get him good ball to show what he can do. So really he's just doing all the shit stuff.
And that's the thing, right? Because of all the injuries, there probably hasn't been ample opportunity this year, right? So,
because anytime he came into a New South Wales side, centre off the bench or whatever, he just went to a fucking new level. So anyway, back to the Roosters. James Tedesco, locked in for a Dally M. If he doesn't win a Dally M this year, it'll be one of the greatest robberies of all time.
I know we spoke about this a lot, so apologies, but that 12-month period where he just ball playing went out the window. What was that? Because his ball playing now is unbelievable again. If not it's near enough career best ball playing.
Yeah, I was about to say he probably has the most try assists he's had in a while, or at least up there. Because he's got 3 try assists on the weekend. Whereas there was 12 months where he couldn't buy a try assist.
No.
It was just maybe he did address it publicly. He said sometimes I probably did too much and didn't just take a little bit of a step back. I think ever since he addressed that publicly, mate, he's been phenomenal.
He's on 21. So he had 24 last year. Then there were the 2 years prior, which were weird ones. He had 11 and 12.
Wow.
But he's gone from seasons of 11 and 12 try assists to 24 and 21. That's unreal.
Crazy. Far out.
Yeah.
So this will be his second Dally M medal?
Yep.
Get him back in the Kangaroos team as well.
Absolutely.
Mate, I'll be honest. Yeah, I'm a big component of Dylan Edwards last year and that when he came in. Right now for me, Teddy is the fullback and it's not even close for the Australian side.
I agree.
Yeah, and then your little wild card, Reece Walsh.
Well, at the moment, and Panthers fans aren't going to like to hear this, I would be selecting Walsh as a part of the squad over Edwards. Yeah. Edwards, for me, is form for quite a while now, but especially this last little period of footy, he just looks so tired, and it's just not clicking for him at the moment. For a guy that got the position because he is so consistent and doesn't make errors, he's unfortunately been making quite a few errors.
Brisbane, I've said this a few times, if Brisbane win the comp, Reece Walsh will probably be the Kangaroos number 1.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that's a fair shout. I would still take Teddy, as in he'd be in the squad somewhere, just out of he deserves it. I think I really do.
I'm just imagining Walsh in that Australian green and gold jersey. It's hot. It looks good in my head.
Hot. Imagine him with those level of players around him, just fucking.
Oh my god,
Jesus Christ! Imagine him sweeping out the back, mate. Just
at Wembley.
Oh, bruh.
Alongside Latrell, Turbo.
Oh, imagine him working with Latrell and Turbo. What are you doing there? Jesus. Imagine him around Harry Grant and that as well.
Oh, my goodness.
So Teddy's been outstanding. I've got to say, so there was a report that came out that Australian players are only getting paid $13,000 to go on this Ashes tour. That is an outrage, bro. If that is true, that is an outrage.
I saw that yesterday and I was just like, surely not.
Surely not, but
Surely there's something more to that.
well, I know that in the international footy, in the RLPA agreement, the Australian players a while ago took a massive pay cut so that other teams would get paid more. So a lot of people don't actually know this, but the Aussie boys said, okay, we'll get paid substantially less so that we can get more money out to these other developing nations, even though they're the ones, the Australian side generates a lot of the value, which is good. I love that. But $13K for an Ashes tour, a month of work. Bro, there are brickies out there right now that are earning more than, have a little bricky business that are earning more than $13K a month. We're talking about billions of dollars. And I understand it's different to the NRL. It's still more than $13K a month.
And all the stadiums are sold out and stuff as well. You can't tell me there's not a bit more cash kicking around.
$13K, if you've already played for Australia a bunch, and granted, I understand the whole idea that you should want to put that jersey on, and that is true in a perfect world. But let's say you've got a few niggly injuries. Let's say you've got a brand new, a newborn baby, and your other son's 2 years old, and then you're like, okay, I'm thinking about playing for Australia, and they're like, oh yeah, and also by the way, you're going to get $13K, and if you bring your family across, it's actually going to cost you to play for the country.
Well, James Tedesco, I think he just had his first bump, didn't he? Back end of his career,
you don't want to you get this opportunity. The season's ended. You get the opportunity to wake up every morning and be with your newborn baby, which you love more than life, or not even enough money to pay for them to come with you to England.
Yeah.
What are you selecting?
Some of them are coming off it'll be a 31-week season.
Mate,
plus there's Origins involved in that. It's the most physical sport in the world as well. On top of that,
mate.
Yeah. Bit more.
I hope that's not true. Listen, I'd get it if it was a World Cup year. So even though it should be more, but the money is just getting spread across the. But this is just Australia and England.
Yeah.
So anyway, hopefully it's just reportedly it's not actually true. Hopefully it's not actually true. Sorry, back to the Roosters. I think Angus Crichton has been this last month or so. I think he's been outstanding. There was a period there where I felt like he probably wasn't having as good a year as we know he can have, and which is his best year is the best in the comp essentially. I think he's been great this last month of footy. Really, really strong.
Last year he was the best back row in the comp
by a mile.
This year he's been okay, but by 2024 standards, he's fallen off a cliff. He's getting back to it. And I don't think it's possible to reach what he was doing last year, but he's getting there and it's vital for the Roosters.
Oh, huge for him on the edges there. Especially with Radley being more of a toiler on the other edge at the moment. They're just going to get through his work. And Radley's been great on the edge, but they need, Crichton is a point of attack for them. Get him the ball, he'll get a quick play of the ball, he'll get an offload, and I think he's been outstanding.
Yeah.
And just outside of that, White, solid again as always. Wong. I thought Wong was really good. Jeez, he's such an interesting player, Wong. He has these moments. So he played for 39 minutes and was outstanding on the weekend. So 39 minutes, 161 metres, 86 post-contact, 5 tackle breaks. 22 tackles, only 1 miss. So that's in 39 minutes. And so Wong will have games like this and you're like, okay, this guy is going to be a gun in first grade. And then it'll just go a little bit quiet for a few weeks. Hopefully he can keep this consistency up because there's clearly potential. I think
he will be a gun and an 80-minute edge back row gun for a long time to come. It's just been probably a bit slower of a process than what people have hoped.
Yeah. And also it is the Roosters forward curse where Robbo, each day he wakes up, he sends a message and says, you're a front rower, and then the next day he says you're a back rower.
And then, Radley from lock to edge. And he seems to love playing Radley on the edge, which sort of goes against Wong a little bit. And anyway.
And look, I actually think it's, to my understanding, it is intentional from Robbo because in the modern era, he's trying to create forwards that can play across the pack.
Yep.
Which is understandable. When you think of all the HIAs and everything that happen, it's actually a smart tactic. But I feel personally it does delay development a little bit sometimes. But yeah, look, Roosters, in a year where I said they wouldn't make the 8 because of the injuries they had, look, I think I still had them at 9th or 10th. I think Roosters fans should be really proud of them. I wouldn't say sneaking to the 8, but last week of the season, locking themselves in. I think they should be pretty proud of this season from the Roosters.
I think it's a pass mark.
Yeah.
And the fact that Sammy Walker didn't come back till later on in the season, and Brandon Smith, among with the retirees, the team on paper, I still think should be playing finals footy. But again, there's a lot of good competition in the NRL at the moment, and it's a pass mark.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Hammy? Pass
Yeah,
mark?
pass mark. I also, I think they'll probably exceed expectations. I think they'll win one, if not two, finals as well.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't want to find. Honestly, I would not want to be playing them in a finals game.
I think it's way more than a pass mark because
Yeah, okay.
their whole team is basically new. Like, well, not whole team, sorry, but it's a totally different team to last year. They lost a lot of people last year. I don't know. I think I didn't expect them to make finals. I think they've had a really good year. Yep. And in like round 10 or something, they were coming like 12th or 13th. Like they weren't really in contention. So I think they've done really well to make the finals.
Yeah, like I'll be honest. Like even I think it was like round, as you said, around the round 9-10 mark. I was like, nah, I think they're done. So they deserve massive credit. They've showed a lot of grit, a lot of fight. Okay, just like to dedicate this to Matty and Courtney.
Dragons Panthers brought to you by Matty and Courtney.
I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. Oh yeah. Anyway. Did you have any music on the engagement?
Not while we were doing it.
Well, you should have had Enrique Iglesias Hero.
Yeah.
You young buck don't know shit about music.
I popped the question, I reckon, right about when Lindsay Smith scored, so...
You were?
I popped the question when Lindsay...
Jeez, a moment you remember forever.
You popped the question when Lindsay Smith scored.
Yeah, I'm guessing
Well,
it was
this
around
is as
that
good
time.
as time as any, I suppose.
The great Lindsay Smith's gone over. This is an omen for our wedding. And look, Lindsay Smith is basically Timmy Williams anyway. So
Yeah, it was meant to be.
it was meant to be.
Technically, I was at your engagement.
Yeah.
Oh, the GOAT Lindsay Smith going over. He's an Australian rep, mate. He's an Australian rep. The big fella. Speaking of Lindsay Smith, we're going to talk about the Panthers dominating the Dragons. 40-20, that sums up the game. Look, from a very... It's hard to be critical of the Panthers because we know what they can do. So, like, you can say a bunch. You can be, if you just took out the last 5 years and you just looked at this performance, there are things you can be critical of. I understand I'm going to look like an idiot. However, I'm going to be critical because obviously, people want to talk about current things. If there is a little bit of a worry, was the lapse after halftime for the Penrith Panthers. It was the fact that this wasn't a 40-6 win. And when I say worry, I'm talking about them winning a grand final, not them toweling up the Dragons. Little bit of are they the Penrith Panthers roaring into finals footies like we've seen of the past few years? Probably not. Have they won premierships where they haven't roared into finals? Yes, they have. So even by me going, they're not really roaring into finals, it's like, well, they've done this before and gone on to win a premiership. But I would say, if you just took out the last 5 years, that is a little bit of the feeling. Like they're not necessarily Panthers at their peak right now.
Well, to that point, any other premiership, heavyweights, to have done this and, be leading 22-6 at half time, then concede a few tries in the second half, you're kind of like, well, they took the foot off the throat a little bit, whatever. Don't read too much into it. But this isn't Penrith. Penrith never do that.
Yeah.
And that's why they've been to the exception. That's why they've created history the last 4 years. So, yeah, it's somewhat of a concern, but... I mean, in a lot of ways, it was a bit of a training run, wasn't it? Penrith going down there, ladder position wasn't going to change. They were playing for nothing. They still put 40 points on a team. Make of it what you will.
They've set a standard so high that they can win 40-20 and us go, oh, that's not really the Penrith that we know. But as you just said, they had nothing to play for, and they just went out and absolutely clapped the cheeks of the Dragons.
Jeez.
Don't worry, there's some cheek clapping later on in the show.
There's a lot.
Okay. Looking forward to that. Just caught me off guard, that one.
I don't think I've ever seen Hammy rattled. But
Came out of nowhere.
Was it a bit uncouth for you? A bit too
No, it
uncouth?
was fine. Well, a little bit, but I just didn't see it coming.
You've never seen a Dragon's cheeks clap?
Well, I did on the weekend at Wynn Stadium. No, I think you guys have summed it up pretty well. The Panthers did what they needed to do. Was it as clinical as they can be? No. Was it still pretty good? Yes, I think... this probably ticks the box that Ivan would have set coming into this game. Just get everyone out there, get all your troops. We've had the rest, a little bit of a hit out before the finals, get a comfortable enough win away. It was basically done and dusted at half time. They got away. Yes, they took the foot off the gas a little bit after half time, but, it was never really in doubt. And they had the luxury again of kind of taking a couple of guys off with 15 minutes to play just to keep them nice and fresh for next week.
I thought it was interesting what Isaiah Yo said at the end of it. where it was like, oh yeah, I played 80 minutes. I just, I've been injured and like, in and out of games or whatever. And you could tell it's probably the first time Yo has, because like he's plays every game, never misses any game. Probably the first time where he's had to force to play to get his rhythms back to a degree. Again, that's a unique thing, a unique challenge they haven't had before in this run. Granted, will they handle it? Yes, they probably will. To be honest, the biggest concern I have for the Penrith Panthers, and I don't mean to single a bloke out, I only single him out because he has been a key part of this premiership run. I got to say, it's Dylan Edwards. It's Edwards. It's because they have built this dynasty on his consistency, on his ability to withstand immense pressure and get through work and not make errors. It will be one of the first times they go into finals footy with a pillar of their premiership push in probably the worst form he's been in since he started getting into this good form. Again, now, Dylan Edwards' bad form is probably as good as a lot of these lower tier fullbacks' solid form. So he's not been shocking. However, he's definitely not been at the standard that we know Dylan Edwards can play.
He's absolutely off, mate. And like we've said it a few times, but earlier in his career, he had the issues under the high ball, some concerns, some errors. He's gotten that out of his game, and he's become, the Blues number one and the Australian number one off the back of not being the most electric fullback in the game. He probably ranks about 15th for that. It is the fact that he runs for 200 plus metres per game and he's clinical in everything he does, and he takes every high ball. He's so reliable. That's the staple of his game. He doesn't have that right now, and that is the safety more than anything under the high ball, but even just errors in play. It's not just under the high ball. And look, I have a reasonable amount of confidence that Dylan Edwards shakes it off come week one of finals, and we forget about it and say he's back, but it's not a 2-3 week sample size. He's been battling, arguably since Origin, as you said, can be by his standards.
Yeah. I mean, you could even say since Origin last year, he hasn't been at his best. He's still been solid and good, but he hasn't been at his best. And the difference between, you might say, Reece Walsh makes 3 or 4 errors a game. So I guess the difference is the Panthers' game plan is built around a fullback that never makes an error because they're just building pressure. Every time he makes an error in his own end, the Panthers, they know how to react to it, but they're not used to it because that's not part of the game plan. Whereas Reece Walsh, he'll make 3 errors, but he'll give you 3 or 4 tries off things.
He's laying on 3 a game.
Yeah, whereas Edwards is more about, don't get me wrong, he can lay on tries for sure, but their literal game plan is built on no errors from key players and minimal errors from rookies, really.
Yeah.
Thoughts, mate? Thoughts, Hammy?
I don't know, Dylan Edwards.
Yeah.
Just I'd agree. Probably just a little bit. Each few weeks we've seen a couple little uncharacteristic errors or just kind of creep into his game a little bit. Just a couple of drop balls under the high ball. He's usually so safe there. Probably just feels a little bit below his best. Not to say that he can't get back there, through the pointy end of the season. That's why they've kind of rested a few guys. He was one of the guys they gave a little bit of an extended, they took him off before the end of the game this weekend. But probably fair to say he hasn't quite captured his absolute best form this year.
Yeah. Again, that's coming from a perspective, guys, of we're talking about the greatest ever side assembled essentially in the rugby league. That's the standard we've got for these guys. So, if he was in another team, we would just be like, he's going to clean up 1 or 2 errors. It's not a big issue. We're talking about the Penrith Panthers, the best of the best. I will say, another thing we didn't even think of, they were missing, and I know Dragons were missing players too, but they didn't have Toto, they didn't have Liam Martin. They come back into the side. As we said, they're the last team I want to play in finals footy. Yes, you've got the Broncos at their best, could be great, or the Roosters, whatever. But Panthers, it's just another day at the office for them in this final series, and that's a scary prospect. I don't think any team wants to run into Penrith, and that is also they're not at their peak right now, but they still have the Mike Tyson effect of some teams are beaten before they step on the field because they're just even if this gets close, they're going to beat us. Cleary will ice the game for them.
Yeah, I think they'd feel an ounce of nerves, as they should going across the Tasman in an elimination final, which, week 1 of finals they haven't experienced in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that'd be fine.
Yeah. Geez, it is, we talk about it being set up for the Raiders or the Broncos to make a grand final. It's set up for the Panthers to make a bloody grand final. Out of all the teams you could have landed in the first week of finals, respectfully, Warriors are the number 1 team.
If the Warriors can knock them off, it just
changes everything.
It shakes up the whole series, doesn't it?
Seriously, if Warriors knock it off, it'll be the most open final series I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
If they get a big win in New Zealand, and they probably will play Roosters or Sharks next, I think.
No, they play the loser of
The Storm and Dogs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could go. Let's say Dogs lose to Storm. Panthers can absolutely beat the Bulldogs. They've beaten them.
Warriors.
I think, sorry, let's say Penrith beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
And then the Dogs lose to the Storm. You telling me that Penrith can't beat the Dogs? I think they've beaten them both times this year.
Yeah.
No, Dogs beat a... No, sorry.
No, that's
Penrith
when
beat them
they
8-6, didn't they?
Penrith got them by a penalty goal. The other game was when they rested.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other game they rested
Yeah.
a lot. But Penrith, so like all of a sudden, then you're in a prelim against Melbourne. You know what I mean? Like that's a scary thing about this Panthers side. It's like they're too... Yeah, they're just a scary prospect. In regards to other performances, like, look, we could get into individual performances, guys, but like, respectfully to Dragons, but it was basically a training run for the Panthers.
The Dragons conceded, and really disappointing from them because they conceded 40 points 3 weeks on the trot. And it was coming off that game they lost against the Warriors over in NZ where they lost 3 forwards earlier in the game and almost won it, probably should have won it. And I just thought after that Bunnies loss of 40-0 or whatever it was that there was enough resilience in this side. Like, no, there'll be a bounce back. There'll be a bounce back, even if it was one of the final 2 weeks. And they didn't. I'm like, I hope that doesn't set them back next year because they built something really good this year, the Dragons, and they've just finished awfully.
Yeah. It's if you had have ended the season a month ago, the Dragons would have been like, what a season. Almost a little bit like the Eels
Very
to a degree.
Eels-ish.
What a great year. And then, like, everything was great. Fano's re-signed. Everything's happy. And then you go back just last week and there was talks about Dragons players not happy at the club. Like, that's how much has changed at the Dragons. Listen, I'm still happy with where the Dragons are at. I'm also still happy with their season. But damn, this last month has put a damper on it.
They had a great year. I wish one of those last 3 weeks they had a decent performance.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look how good the Eels are looking right now. And so they were essentially around the same spot a month ago. The Eels ended up finishing 11th. And matter of fact, the Eels were essentially 2 wins outside the 8. Like, obviously, you could go 3. You go 3.
11.
Like, with the year they had, they finished 11th. That's better than before the rebuild. I'm pretty sure.
Jeez.
What a year from Riles. Far out. We'll get to that later. We're Dragons. They ended up 15th. And really, this is a tough one. Really, they only had 2 more wins than the Titans. I still got faith that it was a good year, but geez, that is not good reading. 2 more wins than the Titans, who have been diabolical. Ooh.
Yeah.
They had more close games than anyone this year. It's funny, on the NRL ladder, they've got a filter tab that you have to click on. It just says close games. So I don't actually know what the number is, but it's wins and losses, but they've got the equal most with the Warriors. So they've been at least in games this year.
I guess based on absolutely nothing would be like maybe 6 or less.
Yeah. So they've been in games, but have lost those close ones.
That is tough reading. Only 2 more wins than the Titans and the Knights.
Sorry, back to Para. This is the highest they've been all year. 11th.
That's so cool. I guess that's the difference between the last month of footy. Like, when you check out, like, it goes, like, it is an amazing year for the Eels. Like, there's not a single way you can slice the Eels season and say it was bad. Whereas Dragons, if you want, you can find the numbers to go, this was not a good season, if you want.
Yeah.
But
that's where it's like, you can look at whatever way you want, right? That last month, if your team can't make the 8 or isn't going to get the spoon, you're playing for nothing. Aside like the Eels, who did show plenty, you go, wow, that says something about the culture.
Yeah.
But when you switch off, I kind of get it to a degree, but this is professional sport. You want to see some sort of response, don't you?
And also, it's not like they've had success to fall back on and go, oh, no, we've been pretty good anyway. Like, we're just in a rebuild. It's like, Anyway, back to the Panthers. So I'm assuming that To'o comes back in. Alamotti gets dropped for To'o, I'm assuming. So Tung will keep his spot. Casey McLean keep his spot. Obviously, Edwards will be there. So then on the bench, any world where Dane Laurie jags a bench spot with his form?
As opposed to Schneider?
As opposed to Schneider? If there's probably someone I'm missing, so I apologise.
Liam Martin will come back in as well.
So Liam Martin will come in on the edge. Then that will push
Garner to
a bench spot. Yeah.
I don't think there's room for Dane Laurie.
Yeah, probably not some room there. But what about Isaiah Papali'i? Kind of flown under the radar with how much he's kind of improved.
Yeah.
In the back end of the year for the
Pap's
Panthers.
been great.
Yeah.
I think Luke Garner was fantastic again on the weekend. I think someone's going to get him. I don't know if he's off contract for next year. I think it might be. And the Panthers said they can't really afford to sort of keep him by the sound of it. Whether they've wriggled some stuff around, I'm not sure. But someone's going to get him at a decent price. I think he's a superb signing.
Mate, if I'm the Broncos, I'm getting him for sure.
Oh, he'd be perfect for the Broncos.
We're desperate for edge-back rowers, especially ones that can play multiple positions.
Yeah.
But yes, look, I thought Moses Leota, once again, outstanding. Jeez, he's been good this year. Moses Leota has flown under the radar. Like, no matter what Moses does, he doesn't get appreciated enough. Like, I'm trying to think, when was the last time Moses had a bad season? Like, he's asked to do his job every single time, and he does it every single time. Very rarely do you watch the first 20 minutes of a game. Because Moses Leota's job is to go out there and lay the platform, not just for the forward pack, it's for the entire team.
Well,
he does it every time.
Again, results speak volumes, and if Penrith going to run like we're all expecting him to, that'll be I don't need fish. Like, I can do this.
Mate, he's just been so good. So good. Panthers, we spoke a bit about him in the finals preview, guys. We also spoke a bit about, all over the shop, we've spoken about Panthers. Warriors chat as well. So, listen, I think they're red hot. And honestly, if you want to have them as favourites to win the comp, I actually am not that far against it.
I wouldn't bite back.
People keep saying, you can't win out of the finals out of the top four. You know what's probably harder than that? Winning 4 premierships in a row. So the idea that there's a statistical barrier between them winning, it's like, bro, they've already broken all those things. Like, those things were broken years ago. They're in there. They could go into their 6th grand final in a row. Making 6 grand finals in a row is much harder than winning 4 games on the trot.
And something else cooked. Apologies if I'm missing some. I'm just on the NRL website, casualty ward, but they don't have a player in the casualty ward. Like, obviously, Martin To'o back next week. Is there anyone injured? Or are they full strength?
As the Panthers?
Yeah.
And they're pretty good to go, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're good to go.
Let's add that in, and then the entire team rested last week.
They're 750 to win the comp.
And add all that in, Cleary looks fresh as anything. Like, there's been years where he's had time off, but you can tell he's a bit banged up. He looks like there's nothing wrong and there's nothing wrong with this. I like it. The head strapping, it's hot stuff. So he's actually added to his powers. He's going out there with the head strapping on. He looks fresh as anything. On the weekend, ball on a string. He brought his running game back. That's one area where I feel like, I reckon for a lot of the year, Cleary was not hiding because we kind of knew about it, but I reckon people don't realise the severity of that groin injury. During Origin, everything like that, I reckon he was like bad.
Well, it sounded like he was almost going to miss Origin 3.
Yeah.
And I think you're right.
Yeah, and so I think that's all clear now. A fresh Cleary heading into... Somehow, some way, they've been in 5 grand finals in a row, and somehow, some way, Cleary's going into his 6th final series, arguably the freshest he's ever been. Make that make sense.
I don't want to talk about it, mate.
It makes me angry. He's too good. He's too good, Cleary. He's too good. Too bad his younger brother's going to get dropped brutally at the 10th minute at Warriors Stadium, and the whole crowd's going to boo his younger brother. Don't get rattled, Cleary. Don't get rattled. What is great news is the fact that Jet Cleary apparently is killing it in New South Wales Cup. I don't want to speak about it too much because I don't want to put too much pressure on the young fella. The name is fucking pressure enough, but it's really good to hear that. It's really good to hear that. Okay. Let's get to the next game. Titans defeat the Tigers. Great stuff. To be honest, the biggest talking point for me in this game was Cooper Bye. Coming off the bench for the Titans.
Would you say buy of the season?
Well, did they buy him? That's the question.
I was saying B-A-I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In which case, yes, because he was the only one. So.
Yeah, but is he the greatest buy of all time? I'm not sure.
Time will tell.
Yeah, time will
tell. His
tell.
old man wasn't too bad.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
Yeah.
Marcus Bye, one of the greats. Wasn't he? How good was his impact? Straight off the bench into the game, then nearly scored on about his 2nd or 3rd touch. I think that one was pulled back. Had a bit of a look. Just played the 7 games in Cup this year. Still only 18, had 5 tries playing lock in Queensland Cup. Didn't he look the goods?
Mate.
He did. He looked really good in the Queensland, the under-19s Origin as well, earlier in the year.
Cracking headgear as well.
Oh, yeah, the big yellow highlighter.
Yeah.
He looks the business, so I'm sure we'll see a fair bit more of him next season for the Titans.
Which is exciting, at least there's a look towards the future. We spoke a little bit about it, Brimo at centres, but look, good win for the Titans. Show they've got some fight in them left still. So I guess we'll see what happens there. Tigers lost. Look, still a great year for the Tigers.
Anything about Makasini, the winger?
Oh,
on that
yeah.
group? What'd you make of him?
Geez, he's a big boy, isn't he? I didn't think he was that big.
Yeah, huge.
Top the meters for the Tigers.
Bro.
He's an 18-year-old on that. 18, 17? 18.
18.
Yeah.
Well, I did find interesting a lot of the comments, so I can't steal it, but the comments were TOTW has just dropped. And he, mate, I mean, they couldn't
pressure.
be. No pressure, yeah. But at the same time, like, he delivered. He topped the bloody meters. He's big, man.
Huge.
He's so big.
And Royce Hunt off the nudie run twice as well was the other big talking point there.
Huge talking point.
Yeah.
Huge
The other
talking
one on
point.
that, Rando dropped it during the week, but he did like the longest active try streaks. And I swear it was last season that Alex 12 scored that bit of meat. Turns out it was 2 seasons ago. He's already back to the 5th longest one.
He almost scored on the weekend as well.
I know. Back to 5th already.
Yeah.
Worrying.
In regards, just quickly on the Tigers, look, like, yeah, they lost the Titans who were fighting for the spoon, but I am happy with where they're at right now, the Tigers. Like, yeah, okay, they could have got as high as 9th. It's so funny. So on the captain's run, I was getting hammered about 4 weeks ago by Tigers fans going, bro, I can't believe you're saying the Tigers can't make the 8. Remember that, Matty?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bro, getting hammered. Anyway,
Yeah.
they ended up fucking, what did they come?
Missed by 8 points.
Yeah, just missed by a little bit.
4 wins. Yeah.
And
13.
they were so relentless as
They
well.
were relentless
Like
over
the
the
whole
whole show.
3 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
And I had another running battle with the audience as well on Captain's Run where I said that Suncorp is the mecca of rugby league and Allianz doesn't come close to it. And there were a lot of New South Wales fans going, fuck off Queensland, fucking Allianz has 100 years history. And I'm like, bruh, come on. Suncorp is the mecca of rugby league. Let's be real here. Let's be real.
Yeah, go to Magic Round and
Leichhardt says hello, but, you know.
Well, I actually got quite a few messages from people and they were like, Kempy, this is the first time I've gone to Suncorp and I actually didn't agree with you. And then they sent me videos that said, this is fucking insane at Suncorp.
lots of people saying that wouldn't have been to Suncorp.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. They sent me videos
It's
of
unreal.
this was the first time they'd been to Suncorp. And they're like, bro, I've never... And then Matty even messaged me, he's like, bro, they're literally playing noises over they're playing cheers over the Allianz Stadium speakers. At a Rabbitohs South game, Rabbitohs Roosters game. Whereas the atmosphere at Broncos Storm was mental. Look, Allianz is good, but come on. Put aside your New South Wales bias and let's just admit Suncorp's the mecca of rugby league. Let's be real here. Okay, just quickly on to the next game. Sharks versus Bulldogs. Okay, this is important chat. Okay, just quickly, guys, in regards, we'll just do the Dolphins real quick and then we'll do the Eels. We'll have to spend a bit of time with it. Dolphins, great stuff, huge win. They played a reserve grade side. The real big question is Trey Fuller, will he be fullback? But great win for the Dolphins.
Trey fullback.
Trey fullback, there you go. Sharks dominate the Doggies.
Just last thing on Dolphins. Best attack of any team this year.
Jeez.
Mate, and look, the biggest talking point for the Dolphins out of that game was their preseason is so clear what they need to do. Sort their defence out. They sort their defence out. They could even be a top 4 side.
And the retirement of the GOAT going out in style.
Yes.
Of course.
Of course.
I was just going to say that. And a nice bit of our goal kicking as well, just to put an exclamation point on it.
So, yeah, look, really exciting times for the Dolphins. The ingredients are all there. Just sort out the defence. Their attack is better than anyone in the comp right now. And you could see, like, I know they were playing a reserve grade side, but fuck me, those backline moves look slick with Katoa leading them. So, okay, let's get to the Sharkies versus Doggies. Let's talk about Sharkies. Look, I understand that they're yet to like go deep into finals, and I get that. And I get also, I'm a Sharkies apologist. I don't know what it is. I've got no connection to the club. They're not even like a second favourite club or whatever. I've just always felt like they overachieve for the size they're at the moment.
Because you're a shy boy now, mate.
Well, maybe
Starting
it is.
to get to you.
Maybe it is. However, if you want to be super critical about the Sharkies in big games, that's fair enough. I get it. I've been critical too. But you've also got to give them credit when they do step up in a big game. The Sharkies look like the premiership heavyweight, and the Dogs were the ones that look like what you think the Sharkies are supposed to be like in this game. Sharkies were clinical. They were relentless. They had a high completion. Like everything was, they played big game footy, and it was led by Nicho Hynes. As I said, I understand, is Hynes on the same level as Cleary and all that in regards to big moments? And we've been critical of Hynes in big moments before, so it's not, we're always positive about Hynes, but you've got to give him credit when credit's due. It was a big game. It was against the Bulldogs, both teams desperate for form, and Hynes nailed it. And so did the Sharkies, and they deserve credit.
They were excellent. I don't know if it was a big game. I don't think either side were playing for anything as such, but regardless, they came out and they completed at 95%. They went 44 of 46 sets.
But they beat third. Like the whole argument against the Sharkies, they beat third, desperate for form. Whole argument against Sharkies, they can't beat top tier sides.
No, I agree. I am such a firm believer, Kempy, in what we spoke about at the top of the show, and its mindset going into a game.
Yep.
And I just think, sure, the doggies would have gone out there and like, oh, let's give 100% and let's find some form coming into finals. When you're not playing for anything, it just changes everything.
Yeah.
Whether you say it or not subconsciously, you know there's nothing on the line in this game, really. That being said, it was a team coming third who had a point to prove, at least to themselves, and the Sharkies were brilliant in it. And they said, led by Nicho Hynes, Tim and Atkinson combined really well, and they bullied them through the middle at times. I thought that the middles, Fanua Blake, Rudolph were fantastic. It was... They couldn't have done any more, put it that way.
Oh, could you please what was the score in the games for the Raiders against the Sharks this year? Because they've knocked off doggies in the Melbourne Storm this year, the Sharkies have. Again, and I know, like maybe I am an apologist for the Sharkies, but that was the knock on the Sharkies, was they just don't beat top tier sides. They've beaten 2 top 4 sides.
Yeah, remember against the Sharks were winning and Canberra scored after the buzzer. Hudson Young did the offload. And
there you go. So like they've gone within an inch of the rate. Like so, basically, they were 1 second away from beating first, second, and third this year.
Sorry, it was Sebastian Kris that scored.
Yeah.
You know, like I just feel like the Sharkies. Granted, they didn't finish in the top 4, but when you actually like ever since Fitzgibbons came to the club, so 2 years before he arrived, they came 8th, and I think they had like 22 points. The year before he arrived, they came 9th, and they had 20 points for the season. Since he's arrived, the least amount of points that they have got for the season is 34. So basically, he's averaging 35 points a season with one of the smallest clubs in the NRL. I know I'm sucking them off. I'm glazing them till they fucking till the cows come home. But I just think they deserve credit for it.
Yeah, they have. They've beaten Dogs, Storm, and Roosters this year. So.
And they're probably the only top 8 side, other than the Warriors, without an Origin player in it.
Yep.
Let's talk in a week.
Warriors have Barnett.
There you go. Boom.
Week 1, finals. I want to see what happens this weekend, and then I'll reassess.
Oh, come on. I know that they've still got to win the first week of the finals. But, like, the Sharks were supposed to have the worst season ever this year. Like, they were terrible. They've
Who
won.
said that?
Everyone was saying that mid-year. They were getting hammered. Absolutely hammered. Hynes, he was getting torn to shreds mid-year. And now they're a win outside the 8, or they might even be the same amount of points. Anyway, and the knock on them heading into this year is they don't go well in big games against the best teams.
So the Doggies won on the weekend. Dogs playing for nothing. Knights,
but
Titans,
that's moving
Giants.
the goalpost. You can't go.
No, I'm not though. So I'm just going through their results. Top 4 teams. They lost to the Storm in round 17, 30-6. Broncos in round 16, 34-28. Not too bad. Warriors in Cronulla around 14, 40-10. They beat the Storm in round 11, 31-26. Shark Park, cool. Lost to the Roosters, 42-16.
Shark Park, cool. You can't just go, it's at home. So
that's the first result back in round 11 that I've gone, okay, good win. They beat the Storm by 5 points at Shark Park. That was in round 11.
And they beat the Doggies, who are currently third.
Yeah, again, they're playing for nothing.
That is moving the goalpost massively. Bro, the knock on the Sharkies...
I don't think the weekend was a game that mattered.
But the knock on... Okay, so the knock used to be, though, they cannot beat top 4 sides. They just cannot. Like, that was the knock from most people. It was actually top 8 sides. It was actually top 8 sides. You can't go, they beat a top 3 side, but they weren't really playing for anything. It's like, fuck. Like,
I wasn't the one saying that, though. That's a generalisation of the public. I don't think they have a lot of wins that mattered this year. And I'm not saying they can't get them. I like the Sharks and they're a bloody good football team, and I'm hoping they can go on a run. But I don't think the result on the weekend was one that mattered.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. At the start of the year, I think I was one of the people who said they could actually win the comp, but I don't know if I still agree with that now. Like that, to Timmy's point, the Dogs are in the top 4, but on the weekend, not a great deal on the line. This weekend, if they don't win this weekend, it's been a meh season for them, for where they should be.
Yeah, like
they keep getting to this same point.
Yeah,
they just keep getting in there. Great. When are you going to go to the next level? You got the same squad together. Like at what point do you go? Let's take it by the scruff.
I'm not sitting here saying it's been an incredible year. I'm not sitting there going, fucking, it's been amazing. But the talk around the Sharkies mid-year was it is a disaster. Like they are shit. They're not going to make the 8. and then they've improved every single year since Fitzy's come here. Since Fitzy came to the club, they've gotten better and better, gone deeper. They're in now like their 4th year or whatever. They just lost to the minor premierships, who won the minor premierships by literally 2 weeks. Beat second, they beat third. They should, like, for example, the Broncos, like, they just capitulated in the last 20 years. That's just, I just think that they get unfairly criticised as if they're this like powerhouse club that just constantly underachieves. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I've never had that opinion. I have rated the Sharks. I had the Sharks to finish top 4 at the start of the year. So when they lost a few games and, you know, finals was maybe in a little bit of doubt mid-year, it's like, okay, cool, they're not performing. But my opinion of the Sharks is that I think I had them finish 3rd or something at the start of the year. I'm like, I think they have a squad that can compete for a title. So what, they finish 5th or whatever it is, like, yep, as they should. Now go out and win a game of finals.
Well, I'd ask you this then.
Yeah.
Of the teams above them, who do you think they have a better team on paper, other than probably the Bulldogs?
They're heaps more rounded than the Broncos. The Broncos have the superstars, right?
You reckon they're better on paper than the Broncos?
1 to 17. Ooh. I reckon they're really well balanced.
What?
I don't know about that.
I reckon Broncos are way better on paper.
I think what the Broncos have done, if you ask me at the start of the season, probably, but like Shibasaki was your starting centre at the start of the year. We didn't know that. Like, again, maybe even like Reece Walsh's form over the last 5 or so weeks, that elevates the Broncos enormously.
I'm not talking about their actual performances, just on paper. Just on paper, like looking at the names, how much they get in the open market, you know, making Origin, making rep sides. Anyway, to be honest, I don't actually think we're as far away from each other in opinion as possible.
We're not. I think...
About, 2 metres away.
Matty, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I mid-year when they lost, it was that Roosters game. That was the one for me. The Roosters had their young team and the Sharks kind of sort of towed them up and they got pumped. That was when I was like, wow, I'm disappointed. This is a disappointing year. I thought AFB would inject life into them, and I actually think they've done pretty well since then to claw their way back. But I do agree with, like, if they get knocked out this week, then it's failure. Like, it is.
Failure?
Yeah.
Damn. I would say if they get knocked out this week, it is just a satisfactory year. Like, as in, when I say satisfactory, I'm saying like C. It's a C.
I think this week is the line. Again, I had them top 4 at the start of the year. They lose this week and go out week 1 of finals. It's absolutely disappointing for me because I think they've got a bloody good... I rate their roster, obviously.
So you go D? Like A, B, C, D?
Well, what's a fail? A C? I'd say a C.
D. C's a pass.
C's a pass.
C's a pass. Okay.
So it would be a D.
D's pretty hectic.
That's what I mean. That's what I said.
Yeah. Well.
What would you go if they lose this week? I'll go C+.
C minus.
Okay.
Because I thought they were a chance to, you know, improve on where they've been, and I thought they'd recruited quite well. I'd expect them to probably improve a bit on where they were, but yeah, C minus because I expected a bit more.
Okay. If they win this week, I pass them. If they don't, they fail. There you go.
See me after class.
Yeah.
Look, the good thing about this win for them as well is Adam Blake actually didn't, like, he was good, but he wasn't 150 metres, 200 metres. He wasn't the main focal point. It was actually Rudolph and Hazelton and Talakai that was giving them a lot of the go forward. The big question that, honestly, the brightest minds in the world can't answer this is when Hynes and Trindle are together, they just don't seem... They're okay. They're okay. When Hynes or Trindle are by themselves, they play their best rugby league.
They're well beaters.
I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. Like, Atkinson is gone next year, so that option is just gone from you. And look, maybe it's a small sample size, so we're being a bit too harsh, but I feel like when Hynes knows he's the main man, he actually plays like a 7 and a 6, but a bit like... When Trindle's playing, he plays just like a 6, purely.
I think it comes back with the Broncos conundrum for Kempy, where just the importance of having a foil. Like, you know, it's not that often that players... There are 2 stars in a spine where they both play their best footy as such. One needs to be sort of given the reins, but no, I'm the man in this, rather than having Trindle and Hynes who both sort of occasionally step on each other's toes a little bit. And, you know, they can both lead the side and both be the 7, but when you've got clear and distinct roles in a team, it just allows the stars to shine. So it's not to say that, you know, it can't be Trindle and Hynes moving forward, but we are seeing a pattern of whenever sort of Atkinson's there. And I think Atkinson's a good footballer, but I think he just plays his role alongside either of these two.
What do you reckon, Hammy?
About Hynes.
Like, what's the answer there? Because unless you disagree with that take.
No, I don't mind that. Like, it does feel like for whatever reason they just feel a little bit better balanced when one of those guys is missing. So, maybe they've just got to roll out with the combination that they've had. Because Trent was supposed to be back this week. Is that what we're
I'd assume
expecting?
so. I'd assume so.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd probably look. It's tough, but it feels like they've maybe gelled with that balance of one of them not being there. So maybe they've got to go in with Atkinson and Hynes. Yeah,
It's such a weird one because, like, Trindle and Hynes are the best 6 and 7 at the club. Like, I don't think that's a. Well, there are some people that feel that Atkinson is better than Trindle and Hynes, but me personally, like, I probably just need to see a bit more from Atkinson to make that call at the moment. Trindle and Hynes, but I don't know, for some reason they just. Like, when one is playing, like, go back to last year's final series, Hynes took a massive backward step and just was like, you be the man. Whereas this year, it's like, Hynes is in red hot. It's going to need Trindle to be all the way back. Yeah, so it's a tough one. But in regards to performance, look, I understand where you guys are coming from with they weren't playing for anything. Me, personally, I think they were desperate. Like, when Serraldo was doing his rev-up speech, I don't think he was revving up like it was a normal game. I think he was revving up like we are desperate for a good performance here because we've been so poor for quite a while now. And so I actually think it was a big game for the Dogs. I just think the Sharks, I think you saw evidence of a team that has been in more big games in recent years, plus the fact that the Dogs' spine, it just will not click at the moment, come together all at once.
Yeah, and that's the challenge now. You had the stat earlier about, well, I was going to say the 2 losses in a row, but they beat the baby Panthers last week, so kind of irrelevant stat-wise, but the challenge is they're essentially coming into finals very much down on form, the Doggies, despite finishing third, and it'll really test how much belief they do have. Because there's a side that can make a run, towards a prelim, a grand final. Whether or not they can win one, I don't know. Probably not. But do they believe they can or not?
Well, let's talk about the Doggies.
Yeah.
I just, for the life of me, and look, I know it changed early because who went down injured early?
Sherry. And, like, before you say what you're going to say, like, it was so weird. So, Sherry goes down. Hayward, I believe, went to 5'8".
Yep.
And then Matty
on.
Burton went to centre. Mm-hmm. You've changed your whole spine because then Marnie came on at 9 because your centre went off. That's like in a team full of utilities, that's your option. Like, that can't be it.
Mate, I'm with you. Like, you took, in that spine, Burton is the best player. Do we all agree?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. By a pretty substantial margin.
Yep.
But you took your best player out of the spine. And that's the question I was going to ask you guys, is kind of leading into, is I cannot get my head around these selections that are being made by Serraldo. And he knows so much more about footy. So clearly he's seeing something I'm not. So, like, there must be certain shit that I don't know, like stats and fucking red zones and all that stuff. But for just the naked eye looking in, for the life of me, I cannot understand some of these selections. I've already spoken about the 9 situation. Like, I don't think there'd be a single NRL coach, if the grand final was tomorrow, that would pick Hayward over Marnie at 9, but they've gone with that. But then to move Burton, your best spine player, in a spine that is already not that good, respectfully. Like, Hayward is going to be great. Galvin is going to be great. Tracy has been really poor form lately. You took your best player out of it. I don't get it.
Yeah. So, there's a lot to take in. And it's so important because the Doggies did finish third and, things going right. They can make a grand final and potentially go one better. I can see why Galvin's there, and I don't want to go back on that whole him and Sex thing too much, but I think if they had the opportunity, they would have got Lockie Galvin end of next year and would have probably persisted with Sexton and, they're ahead of schedule, etc. But the opportunity arose that Lockie Galvin was leaving the Tigers and they need to get him probably earlier than expected. He comes in, he plays, fine with that, especially he had half a season to gel with these players. For a couple of weeks ago, to put Bailey Hayward in at 9, when Reid Marnie was, almost the anchor in the spine, who'd done it for a few years now and a team going really well, I just don't get that. And I think Bailey Hayward is an outstanding player that has a big future. I think he's a 13 for starters. I think they're playing him out of position because they've got so many 13s, and that's fine. I don't, and I could be wrong, but I don't think long-term he is a 9. I want him as that ball playing number 13. And you've taken away your 9 late in the season. I don't know why they did that.
What do you reckon, Hammy? Because I'm with you, mate. I essentially agree with everything you just said. Like, I get the Galvin decision. He was on the market. it seems like their long-term plan is Mitch Wood at 7, Galvin at 6. I'm not sure what happens at Burton then, maybe 13, maybe centre, well, who knows? But I don't get the desperate need to move Marnie on. It almost feels like, and just watching naked eye, I got no evidence, this is pure speculation, but it just never felt like Marnie and Ciraldo have clicked as people.
And I've got nothing against moving away from Marnie as your 9 and
long-term, I'm with you.
But because Ciraldo, extremely good coach, obviously. And you had Gus Gould in there as well, who's obviously got a lot to do with this. They've seen stuff in Marnie. They said, all right, he's not our 9 long-term, sweet. But this year, a few rounds out from finals, to make that move, it just makes no sense to me.
The only thing, and I want to be really clear, guys, this is me just saying shit that has no evidence to back it up other than what I've witnessed. It just seems like Marnie has never really been Ciraldo's guy, whereas Hayward has always been his guy. Like, and this is normal, guys. This is not breaking news. Certain coaches get on with certain players better. They represent what that coach likes in a player much more than other guys. And I just wonder whether that's kind of tainted Ciraldo's decision-making of like, I've just never really clicked with Marnie. He's always kind of like, for example, whenever he gives away a big penalty in a big game, you can tell Ciraldo hates it. And understandably so, but like to the point where it's so, that kind of style of play is so against what Ciraldo's about. He struggles to get past that. Again, all speculation, guys. I just feel like there might be a bit of, like, that has clouded his judgment with the Marnie call. Because I agree with the decision to move Marnie on long term. Takes up a lot of the salary cap. He can get big contracts elsewhere, and you've got a guy like Hayward coming through, plus probably some juniors. But to do it with, round 20? Around round 20?
Round 23.
To do it round 23? Yeah. I just don't get it. What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, didn't make a lot of sense to me either. Hayward, I thought, was outstanding coming off the bench, playing that kind of role for them. And I think, you've said it a few times, but if you're any other team, basically, and you're given the opportunity of starting Marnie or Hayward right now to fill in a big game, you'd be going with Reid Marnie. So, look, I know they're trying to fit potentially a couple of utilities in there. Bailey Hayward, you've got Kurt Mann on the bench as well. And then Marnie, is it a way to kind of make all of that work? But just feels a little bit clunky starting with Hayward, trying to get 80 minutes out of him.
Well, this is how crazy it is. At full strength when they were on top of the table, sometimes Hayward would start at 13. He would literally, and Mann would be pushed to the bench.
Yeah.
So that's what's even stranger.
And just add another layer to that. All right, if you're going to position with Bailey Hayward, I see what they're trying to do. Like, it looks to me like they're just trying to turn him into a bit of that Mitch Kenny style number 9, at least for the time being. Maybe with the full off-season at number 9 as the regular number 9, this changes, but just like sort of distribute, make your tackles, do your job, give good service, etc. But like in his 5 games since starting at 9, these are his meters: 18, 8, 20, 23 and 5. The worst thing you can do, I think, no matter how good your team and your spine, the rest of your spines and that, is just to basically shut down your 9's running game and giving him no license to do anything, because that's what it looks like to me, and those numbers back it up. Not saying you need to run much, but if you get a quick play of the ball, go. Well, and take off.
And I do like your comparison to Mitch Kenny, because it does seem like a very similar comparison. The difference, though, is this, and the Panthers CEO has spoken about this. The reason they went Mitch Kenny was because when they had Api Coruscant at the club, they didn't think Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai were ready to be the main man all the time.
Yeah.
The reason they allowed Api to leave was because they felt that Cleary had developed enough to be the big dog. The difference with the Bulldogs is Galvin is nowhere near ready to be the big dog yet. Like, we can clearly see it. And this is, like, I've got big raps on Galvin. He will be a good NRL player. I've got no doubt in my mind. But he's definitely not ready right now. And I just feel like they've made the decision too early. Like, Marnie, he's not like Api Coruscant in the sense he doesn't play like him, but he is like him in the sense that he's an experienced campaigner that's touching the ball with his all the time first. And I just think they've jumped the gun with this one.
And he knows the position inside and out.
Yep.
And when the time's on to run and take on the line, he does it.
Yep. Yeah. And look, the one fact that matters the most of all, and you can count Sexton in this as well, is when he was 9, they were on top of the table.
Yeah.
And when Bailey Hayward was starting 13, they were on top of the table.
And it's not just like we'd have Marnie at 9, but it's like Hayward was so good at 13 and playing that role.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Can they do it, boys?
Nah.
No, they can't turn around? Holy shit.
No, it's a mess. They were on top of the ladder with it all humming, and they've changed stuff too drastically in the middle of the season. They can't do it. They might, maybe just because the Storm aren't going that good and they're, you know, they've got a fair few injuries as well, they might be able to potentially beat the Storm down there, but I don't think they can win the comp.
I've got to be honest, they're not on the same tier as the Storm for me. Like for example, there's a world where the Storm go boom and just go crazy. Like even without Jerome Hughes for the first couple of weeks, because it's Melbourne Storm with these crazy players in key positions. The Dogs, they might be able to jag a win here or there, but can they like fully flip the script and just go crazy? I'm just not sure they can. I don't know whether they got the roster. I feel like they're a kind of team that's got to be going into finals confident in their game plan. Like, we know how to beat people. And I'm like, they might be able to jag a win against the Storm, but I just think that the tinkering with the spine might have just tripped them up a little bit towards the back end of the year.
I think they're every chance to go down to Melbourne and cause an upset.
Yeah.
I think they can win.
I'm with you.
We're about to get to face the news, so I'm still trying to work out who I'm going to tip in that game and how, but because I think it's going to be a cracker. I think they can go down there and win. If they lose, then I think we said potentially a Penrith matchup next week, which I know they've done it this year, but I don't think they win that game. If they can knock off Melbourne and go to a prelim, like strange things have happened. But yeah, I think they might jag a finals win.
Because a prelim, it's against the Broncos if Broncos win, or it's against the Raiders.
Yeah, they're capable, obviously.
Capable, yeah.
I don't think I can see them winning the comp. Not this year.
Yeah, look, I'm not 100%. I'm sure you're not either. But the confidence is for substantially less than what it was round 14 or so.
It's changed very quickly.
Definitely changed. I still think that the fact that the Storm are out of form and they might jag a Raiders or a Broncos, who they have beaten both of them.
Volatile Broncos, inexperienced Raiders, Penrith are outside the 4. It's anyone's competition.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I go.
On any other year, and to be honest, I'd probably say this about the Raiders and a few other teams as well. I'd be like, well, they're probably just not going to beat Penrith in a big game at full strength, whatnot. It's wide open this year, right?
And that's where I go. Like, if they somehow jag a win this week and then they were to upset the Raiders or the Broncos, I would be like, I'm not that surprised that the Bulldogs beat the Raiders or the Broncos. Then they just land in a finals. Who knows what can happen on finals day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I give them a chance. But if we had Penrith and Broncos from 2023 or whatever, like, bruh, there's no way. There's no way. Or if we had, I don't know, Broncos from Panthers and Rabbitohs from 2021 or whatever.
Honestly, the last 4 years grand finals, there's been such a clear top 2. This year, there's something funky about this year. And the Raiders winning the Morrow Premiership suggests that. Penrith missing the 4 suggests that. Weird things are happening this year, and anyone in the 8 can win the comp if a few things go their way. It's different to what we've ever seen. It's vastly different to what we've had in the last 4 years, put it that way.
Well, this is what I'll say. If they go down and put a clinic on the Storm this week, I'm all the way back in the Bulldogs camp.
It won't take much,
Yeah, so exactly. It won't take much for me to go. Like, I'm still open to it. It can happen. I'm not fully like, no, can't happen. Whereas, respectfully, the Warriors, I don't think can win the comp. Roosters, I just don't know if they can play 4 games like that. If they had 2 games, then potentially. Raiders definitely can. Storm I need to see with Harry Grant. Panthers definitely can. Broncos just can't afford to play 4 games. If they play 4 games, there's no way the Broncos are going to win the comp. But could they play 3 to win? Potentially. So, yeah. Anyway. All right, on to the next game quickly. Eels v the Knights. We'll just speak about the Eels, guys. So just quickly about the Knights. What a disappointing moment for the club. And, you could argue in the early 2000s, outside of the Broncos or whatever, and some, maybe the Roosters or whatever, the Knights were the glamour club of the NRL. To see how far they've fallen, to see a working class team put in that performance against an Eels side that's not even in the top 8. And I understand they got injuries, but if you ever needed I don't want to kick a man while he's down. He's already on his way out, and I do think he's done some good things at the club. But if you ever needed evidence that this playing roster, he's lost the playing roster, that's it, man.
I had the same take, mate. It was just that, was it the right decision with O'Brien? Was it not? And I think everyone was probably leaning into, it was. But, even the Titans, we saw them...
They fall for Desi.
Farewell in Desi, and they went and said, nah, we're going to send him out. Even if we don't win the game, we're going to put up a bloody good fight. They went and won it. The Knights farewelling Adam O'Brien, and they lost 66-10. It's just okay, thank God, the call's been made.
Oh, and the sad thing is this for me is there's something magical about a working class team that you might not have all the best players. You may not have all the money compared to other clubs or whatever, but there's this intangible fight that you'll always have. And the Knights used to have that. And they have fallen so far from the DNA of who they are as a club that it's sad to watch. It's sad to see a club that really has arguably more talent than any other team in the competition in regards to juniors coming through, that has the most, I don't care what anyone says, the Knights are the most loyal fans in the competition, has the most history player in the comp, and Andrew Johns is a legend, has the number one media personality in the game that was also not too bad himself, has guys like forwards that are iconic, and this is how far away that they've fallen from who they are. It's just sad, man. It's sad. They've got to find a way to get back to what it is to be a Knight. Doesn't matter. I don't care about performances. They just need to be able to go, we play Knights Rugby League. That's that simple.
There's only one answer, and it's getting Joey and Matty in as co-coaches.
Mate, the problem is, I think they've a guy like Joey, he's been talking about certain things for so long, and it's kind of been ignored at that club. The junior pathways have been ignored for so long that I think they're just past it.
I would love to see either Matty or Joey in a perfect world, both of them. Obviously not co-coaches, but just go in and go, screw it. We love this club so much. Let's turn this around. Let's put it on it. Let's carry them on our back one last time.
Maybe get Cooper and Jack to go in and co-coach them.
All four of them, though, just go in and say,
great content. Great content.
We're bringing you back to revive the glory of the Newcastle Knights.
So hopefully they can find that working class Steel City spirit. Like, that used to mean something. Steel City, that used to mean something. It doesn't mean anything.
Did you see when Dylan Brown missed the conversion, Andrew John said, he's a Knight, when he missed from in front?
But yeah, it used to mean something. Steel City used to mean something. It used to mean, like, we might go up and beat the Knights, but it's not going to be an easy... It's just not there anymore. It's not there anymore. And I think that their biggest issue that they've had for a long time is they didn't jump on their juniors when they needed to. And if they had have landed the pathways correctly a decade ago, mate, their team... And look, I know every team you can put together a 1 to 17 of players that have left. When you go through the Knights juniors that not only never played for the club, might not have even put on a fucking Knights singlet, it's unforgivable. Yeah. Now on to the other side of things, the Eels. Holy moly. What an exciting time to be an Eels. And look, Ricky Stewart, he's my coach of the year. Riles is second for me. Riles is second. This team was lucky to be playing New South Wales Cup standard rugby league when it round one. They have gone fast forwarded all the way to the end of the year. This is a team playing for its coach. 66-10 against, yes, they had injuries, but it still was an NRL side. 66-10 when they're playing for nothing. Literally nothing. It doesn't matter. It's all done. To do what they did, it is exciting times for the Eels. It really, really is. Hopefully they can back it up. They had, everything's fresh in the first year, but it's all about reset, going again the following year. But this is what they did when they're still playing. What do you reckon they're still paying? 5 or 6 players right now that don't play for the club. They're still paying their contracts. What are they going to do when they've got a salary cap to work with going forward? Yeah,
this year for Parramatta and Jason Riles, it should be studied by probably not so much coaches, but clubs in management for a long time to come, right? Because, the overhaul he did at the start of the season saying, we'll cop losses early, that's fine. We can, essentially, and he might not have thought this, but if we win the wooden spoon, it doesn't matter because we're going to be placed tenfold better leading into 2026 and the future and trying to win a premiership down the track than we will if we persist with trying to win a handful of games and finishing 12th or 13th this year. To finish the season with 3 wins and just, honestly, their entire back half of the season, the way they've performed, every time a club goes through a rebuild in the future and brings on a new coach, you have to have this vision of short-term pain, long-term gain.
And you know what? I've been super critical of Eels administration and how they've handled recruitment after that grand final appearance. I have to give them so much credit for how they've created an environment that's given Riles the confidence to make the calls he's needed to make.
Can you imagine if they finished 12th this year, but they'd played Madison all year and Bryce Cartwright all year and all these blokes who he's moved on as a part of this rebuild, and you go into round one next year and all the players who could have had experience in playing different positions. Jack Williams on the edge. I mean, Dylan Walker's come in as part of this rebuild. Charlie Guymer's got some great minutes at the back end of the year. All these sorts of players how ready to rock they're going to be for round one. The combinations will be there because they've had time to spend together this year. Like, it's brilliant.
And like they've locked in who they think their spine's going to be, which Josh Papali, Moses. Obviously, Iongi's been outstanding. Mate, it is just... I just think the administration deserves so much credit. Very rarely does administration have the guts to go, we're going to give the coach, a rookie coach too. We're not talking about... Like, sometimes coaches like Wayne Bennett come in and they've got to fight for control. And you're going, what the fuck? Administration is fighting against Wayne Bennett for control. For them to go, Riles, as a rookie coach, we're going to give you all the power to make the tough calls. I think the administration deserve a massive, massive rap for allowing that to happen. Because that can't happen unless the administration allow it. Because if Riles had to keep looking over his shoulder about, making sure he won 10 games this year or whatever, he wouldn't have got rid of Madison or moved these guys on that it got a little bit stale. Like the Gutho call, one of the toughest calls. And like Gutho still went away and played some good footy, and maybe they still would have played as good with Gutho in it. But the good thing is for them now is they've got the next 5 years sorted with Iongi. Like even if Gutho stayed at the club and he was better than Iongi, and Iongi was better this year than Gutho, but even if he was, they still would have to find out who's going to be the fullback going forward. Now, not only do they have Iongi essentially the rookie of the year, if not it's Halasima, but now they know who their fullback's going to be at least for the next 5 years.
And then by the time they're a part of their blueprint to win a comp in, whether that's 2027, maybe that's 2028, I don't know. If Gutho's there, it's like he's very much at the back end of his career, but now they've got Iongi firing.
Yeah, it's just, it's been an incredible season. And even some of these like Charlie Gaimir, some of these like fringe young first graders that weren't really getting a crack last year, they've come in and been outstanding at the Eels. And they've got, I think the biggest issue for the Eels for a long time was the starting side was so established that they had these fringy young guys that just had no confidence because they weren't getting any opportunity to show what they could do. Now, all of a sudden, even if just one or two of these young guys come through and, get a bit of confidence enough to be a first grader, like that's night and day. You're paying them half of what you're paying these other guys, plus they're super young. So obviously Jack Williams, like a bench player for the Sharkies, now he's been phenomenal for them. Kelma Tuolangi, a guy that was like in and out of first grade, he's been outstanding since coming back from injury. But like guys like Matt Dory, like a guy that, actually, funnily enough, at the start of the year, I went to just a gym for Grumpy Coffee to put coffees on for the gym. And it was on a weekend in the preseason. And Matt Dory was there doing fitness. Like a guy like him probably wouldn't have got the opportunity last year. He gets that opportunity. He scores on the weekend. Charlie Gaimir, he's been outstanding the more that he's more opportunities had. Junior Paulo, the decision to keep Junior Paulo out of all those forwards was the correct one. A lot of people said, maybe I'll go one of these other guys that are a bit younger on a bit less money. Riles said, nah, he's my man. He's been important. He has nailed everything. A guy like Riley Smith wasn't on anyone's radar as a 9. He was outstanding yesterday. I mean, the list goes on. Moving Hopgood from 13, edge sometimes, into the front row. That's worked. He's gotten better towards the back end of the season. Addo Carr looked like his career was done. Mate, he's pushing potentially for a wing spot for the Australian side. He probably won't get selected, but he's at least got his name in the conversation. Sean Russell, a battler, like a New South Wales Cup, come in for injuries. He's been great. So anyway, outstanding stuff. Thoughts on the Eels, mate, before we move on to face some music?
Yeah, no, not too much to add there. I think you're spot on. They've definitely shown a bit of improvement this year. They're on the right track. They've ended as high as 11th, which is a pretty remarkable. Considering when we saw the first game at the start of the year, like they're winning the spoon, and to where they are now, you can see. They've made some tough calls, moved some guys on, but you're right, Timmy, the experience they've got into a lot of those younger guys will pay off next year. Fox has been outstanding. I'm glad you touched on him, Kempy. I reckon he's a smoky for the Kangaroos trip. And Mitch Moses, I thought, there's just such a different side with him in him, in the side. Since he's come back, they've been really good. So, they're definitely on the right track.
Exciting times. Alrighty, let's get into Face the Music, brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed, guys. Get around me. We're going to have some a lot of multis you can copy heading into finals footy.
All right. So the Melbourne Storm, $1.49, host the Bulldogs, $2.64, 5.5 points is the line.
We've also been asked to throw in an anytime try scorer.
Yep. Throw one of those.
Every single game?
Each. God.
Yeah.
Every game, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any rules around that? Like,
nope.
You can't do. No, it's in like for us for Face the Music. Like you can't do wingers or whatever. Or no. Okay. Sweet. Okay. I am going to go Melbourne to cover.
Yep.
Yeah, firstly, I hope I'm kicked out of the eliminator by the end of this week, Hammy, because I don't like a lot of my guesses. But
Oh, you will be.
Honestly, with what I'm about to say, I am. I'm going to go with the head, not the heart. Storm 1-12.
Yep, 260.
I'm going to go Storm 1-12, and I'll go. Wait, are we picking try scorers yet?
Yeah, I'll do my one first. And then
Okay,
we'll
Storm
go around
1-12.
it. Yeah, I'm going to go Storm. I think they sneak as well. No, I'll go Storm -5.5. Yep, that'll be my tip. What about your try scorers?
Okay, anytime try scorer.
Obviously, the market's not live yet when the
Mark's not
teams
there.
come out.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Anytime try scorer. We don't even know who's going to be playing fullback. Fuck. I'll go Wishart. Anytime try scorer.
Yep.
Bit of value there.
It's so hard on the
Yeah,
spot.
because you don't have the fucking. You don't know who's going to be
Who's
fullback.
playing in this team.
Like if Pezzett is in the winger outside him,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. I'll go Harry Grant.
Yep.
Oh fuck! Actually, I'll go on
No,
Wishy,
too late.
but wait, Wishy might not even play.
Yes, you will. You're in. Wishy.
Oh fuck!
You go.
Play off the bench.
Katoa.
Yep, I'm going Qatar as well. All right, next game. Warriors $3.50 host. The Panthers $1.31. 9.5 points is the line.
I hate to say it, Panthers 13 plus.
Oh, $2.18.
Yeah. Again, I'm wrong. I'll go Panthers to cover the 9.5.
Yep.
I'm going to give Warriors the start. 9.5.
I'm going to go Panthers to cover as well. I reckon they still beat them comfortably, but the 13 plus was just scaring me off a little bit.
Bit much.
Try scorer?
I'll go Casey McLean.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
I'm also Casey McLean.
Yep.
Copycat from Ballarat.
I'm going to go Fisher Harris.
Fisher Harris.
Yep.
For the Waz.
That's huge.
Well, I'm not actually versing anyone this week, so I can.
Yeah, you just do it
course.
before and against. I'm going to go with Luke Garner, I reckon, for the Panthers. Sharkies, $2.02 host the Roosters, $1.82. 1.5 points is the line at Shark Park.
You know what? All you fucking Sharky haters. I'm going Sharkies 1-12.
3.15.
Good for you. Again, I hope you're right. I'll go Roosters 1-12.
2.95.
Roosters head to head.
Yep. Roosters head-to-head for me as well. Try scorer?
I'll go. Just trying to think. Who's Billy Smith is on
Left.
Left side.
left, which is
He gets Rami in.
Rami in, and I can't, who's the other centre again? Oh, Toya.
Toya and Iro.
Just trying to think. I'll go. You know what? I'll go big. I'm going Connor Watson anytime trust.
Okay, nice. He scored on the
pirate
weekend.
bet. It's hot pirate bet.
Yep.
James Tedesco.
Yep.
Kale Iro.
I'm just going to get on the board. Marky Mark for me. Then the Raiders, $1.69 host the Broncos, $2.18, 2.5 points is the line down there at Canberra Stadium.
I don't want to jinx them. I'll go Broncos plus 2.5.
Yep.
Raiders to cover.
Yep.
Raiders head to head.
Yeah, I'm going to go Raiders 1-12, $2.85. Try scorer?
We don't even know. Okay. I'll go try scorer. Fuck, I just need it in front of me so I can look. Karapani.
Kayo Weeks.
Kyle Weeks.
I'm going the
Oh,
amateur.
wait, sorry. I didn't mean Kyle Weeks. I mean Ethan Strange.
I'm going the amateur plumber, Reece Walsh.
Okay.
For me. Can I also just get, at the start of the finals, Clive Churchill medalist.
Okay.
A couple of weeks out. Who do you think?
Paynehouse.
It's $18.
I will go Joe Tarpany.
$15.
Ethan Strange.
I'm also going Ethan Strange. $16. Best backed as well.
Strangers.
Yep.
Wow. I've actually got a sneaky one. I don't know what price he is now, but I got on Coates a few weeks ago at 126 to 1.
71 now.
Holy 120. That's great.
Because he could just score a hat trick and win them the game.
Yeah, 100%.
I know. I'm pretty sure Wingers never won a Clive, but still, Coates could.
Alrighty, that's us done and dusted. A massive thank you as always to Sportsbet, our partners. Give us a follow on the feed. Anything else happening?
Yeah, very quick one. You can do one of those brackets where you basically pick your run home, a little bit like we tried to do today, and you can actually bet on the exact run home for the finals. So bit of homework. You jump on the NRL ladder predictor. It's still through there. See who wins each matchup, and then you head over to the tab on the Sportsbet app, and some big prizes for those ones as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Make sure to give SC Playbook a follow. Got a bunch of different fantasy sports now. Massive congratulations to Matty for getting engaged.
Yeah,
well done, mate. We won't fuck ourselves. Well, us three might fuck ourselves. He'll be fucking not doing that. Not doing that.
He's covered.
That's good stuff.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.